decoder, giving us great sounds to
Morning
bring
vibe.
you to the beautiful morning hump day, Wednesday the 29th of October.
Yep.
No, so,
Yes, it
27th.
is.
I'm rushing ahead of myself.
You open.
27th. It's today 27th.
Open then.
Charlie, no, so.
I'm in a hurry for Friday, so when you said 29th, I said yes.
Oh wow,
yes.
it's 2 more days.
Because if it was 29, then tomorrow.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? How was your night? How's your family? How are you? It's good to have you here on hashtag GTV Breakfast, the best way to start your day. And boy, do we have a great day for you.
Yes,
I mean,
we do.
the big story yesterday had to be recruitment woes.
Okay.
Yes, and
Oh,
so,
how many views do we have on that video? So
there's
yesterday,
just thousands, tens of thousands.
we've asked you to follow our social media handles, and we share really insightful videos and little bits of newsy bits from here and there. And so if you're not following us on our social media handles, you're missing out. Follow our Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and we are also on YouTube, and we stream live on Facebook and YouTube. So yesterday you captured a video on your way into work.
Yes,
of
well, it was Lillian.
The long,
intern, long queues. So that one generated hundreds of comments.
Yep.
The other big video was something that Alan, our man on the ground, captured
I wanna be
2
a
days ago.
billionaire.
Yes, in immigration. So a guy says he wants to go to immigration to be a billionaire. And that got a lot of people talking.
Should we tell him the truth?
I don't know the truth, but you can't be a billionaire working at
Your employer,
immigration.
who is employing you, is not a billionaire.
You can't be.
So how are you going to? How is he going to pay you enough to make it?
It reminds
Let's drink.
me of a guy who came to work in a serious ride, you know, like some souped up Mercedes-Benz, and the boss comes to work on a motorbike.
Okay.
And the boss parks and says, "Whose car is this?" He said, "Oh, it's this guy." I think I'm paying this man too much.
Slashed his pay.
No, that's what he just said.
Okay.
And then he drove off.
So long as there was no pay slash.
At all. And the third video that was trending was the oral sex can cause cancer. And Charlie, boys on Twitter, I mean, they've accepted their fate.
They are willing to die. Why is Valerie laughing?
So just follow us for all the content that you want on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and get involved. Express your views, share your opinions. WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034.
This show is brought to you in partnership with Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink.
Okay. Mood swings. When does a mood swing become bipolar disorder? That's what we'll be having a conversation on in 20 minutes. If you want to know everything you need to know about bipolar disorder, you want to be locked right here on GTV Breakfast. I'm going to swing it to Valerie, who I know is in a good mood.
Yes, an extremely good mood. This morning I've decided to choose peace instead of violence. Good morning, guys. So we'll be connecting, as I do every time. I'll be connecting with Jay and Alan later on in the show. We'll be looking at different parts of the capital and in terms of traffic updates and what's happening with traffic. And then also yesterday we didn't visit the Klala Street, but today we are going to the Klala Street. We are looking at an open drain, and then we'll do a small detour to Odoko. We also look at a slip road pond. That's how we decided to call it. And then later on I'll be having a discussion with a gentleman who's into hip-hop. We are going to find out how hip-hop is selling in Ghana and what exactly his intentions are for the Ghanaian music industry, which is rivaling Nigeria right now. And then guys, also Sam George is trending. Do you know why Sam George is trending? Shatta Wale is back, is trending. Medical is trending as well. Heels X Socks Challenge is trending, and if you know why these are trending, you can send your messages to us. Hashtag to follow GTV Breakfast on all our social media handles. Facebook, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube. You can interact with us on Twitter and Instagram. So guys, I'm going to hand over to you guys.
Okay, you know when you said I choose peace over violence, I was just thinking about the names from my region, Volta. So I have a cousin and I have relatives called Peace. Don't have anybody called Violence.
Oh, good.
But I had an uncle who was called, guess what? Census.
What?
Census.
Spelled exactly.
C-E-N-S-U-S. One of my favorite uncles.
Yeah, you
census. And you know why? You know why? He was born in the year of the census, so you can check his date of birth and everything, his year of birth. We used to call it Sonsei. Claudia Sonsei.
That's a good one.
If you have any great ever names, let me know. Okay, thy will be done. My Redeemer liveth.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Great names, Charlie. Yeah, we just translate the ever into English.
I mean, straight ahead. You hear the name, you know what it means.
I haven't had violence yet.
Thank you for joining us for breakfast. My lovely outfit was provided for me by KTO Eleganza, located at Osu. We'll be sharing their details with you very shortly. Let's look at, when in doubt, wear red. Let's look at what Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi has for us today on the Wisdom Nugget, and he's calling it Face Every Day with Courage. We'll be back.
Thank you. Courage is
always very exciting and very humbling to serve you the Wisdom Nugget for the day. And Nugget a day keeps the problems away, isn't it? And today we're talking about the need to face every single day with courage. The need to face every single day with courage. I like a quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over fear. Every single person faces fear. Even for me, as a public speaker, I speak to people all the time in different places, and yet nearly every time when I have to get up and go and speak to people, you still feel a little bit of fear. And that's the same for nearly every experienced public speaker that you may want to talk to. If they're honest, they will tell you that. And so is it for business people. And so is it for families. So is it for leaders. And we face fear every single day. Whether you're a young person going to write exams, you may feel a little bit afraid, you know, about what questions are going to come. Are you going to be able to answer it right? And so on and so forth. But what you need beyond your fear, because you can never keep it away, fear is a natural human experience. In fact, we were designed, you know, to have some level of fear so that, you know, we can be smart and we can defend ourselves, and so we don't make unnecessary mistakes, all right? So it's a bit natural. But what we need beyond the fear is courage. We need to face every single day with courage. I don't know the kind of decisions that you're going to make today, and I don't know the kind of challenges that are standing in front of you today. And there are also people that need to be courageous to speak the truth. You know, sometimes, you know, we're so afraid that when we speak the truth concerning certain situations, we're going to get issues. But many times our fears never materialize. I like how someone defined fear. He said that fear means false, evidence appearing real. Because a lot of the times, the things that we're afraid of hardly ever happens to us. So there is no need to be afraid of fear. If you're confronted with something today, have courage. Because courage is not the absence of fear, but a triumph over fear. As you go through today, be a courageous person. Face the mountains and the challenges that are confronting you. Because for all you know, you're more capable, you are stronger, you are tougher, you are bigger, and you are better than the problems that confront you. And with that courage that is inside of you, you're going to win, you're going to succeed. At the end of the day, we're going to be clapping for you, because you are such a courageous person. Have a fabulous day. And I look forward to seeing you again on the Wisdom Nugget for your day.
Okay, thanks for joining us, and thank you for watching GTV Breakfast, brought to you in partnership with Awake Purified Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. The Health Check segment brought to you by Lufat. Lufat is anti-malarial drugs, suspension for kids and tablets for adults, and you take it if you have a confirmed case of malaria. We're also grateful to Cheesy Pizza, who partners us to bring you our cheesy quizzes for the day. We'll do that at the end of social media trends. My outfit from KTO Eleganza in Osu. We'll share details very soon. Let's settle into the trends this morning. And yesterday, Shatawale was granted bail. Medical was also granted bail as well. So Shatta is out, Medical is out. The accomplices are also out with bills and sureties. And we've seen some videos flying around, right, of them in court of them at the beach when they went to do the little bath, and 100,000 Ghana cedis bail is what Shatta Wale and medical had to pay to get out. So it's still a developing story.
Is it a developing story?
It's still developing. There's no judgment yet on the case.
Well, he has to go back on the 9th. That's
Yes.
what the thing says. Oh, well, we're happy Shatta is out. And we all know Shatta Wale.
So Shatta is speaking. Let's hear.
Thank Allah for everything. Thank Allah for bringing me out. Yo, shouts to everybody that supported me. And I want to say, God is alive, bro.
God is alive. See, when you go to Anchor,
And that's him at the beach.
okay. So they went there. I think they said they went to cleanse.
Yeah, it's
in the sea, and then they shared a prayer as well.
Is the water clean?
the sea
Well,
water.
now
Is
they
the water
haven't.
clean?
Yes,
I don't know which
Is the
beach
water
this
clean
is.
Yes.
these days? Our beaches, is the water clean?
It looks clean.
Who goes swimming in the beach these days?
People do.
I don't know which beach this is, but hey,
That's my question. Is the water clean?
Since Shatta Wale had been arrested, no media talked about entertain news in the music industry. They were all talking about his arrest. They should tell us. They should tell you how big he is than your artist. He will come back and will be talking about music again. Your artist is finished. Shatta is back. Hashtag. Shatta Wale medical, the man of, it be more than blood thinner. I won't be surprised if Shatta Wale had a covenant with medical, because no friend can do what medical did for Shatta Wale. The scarf one don used whilst going to the courtroom, I've seen medical with it. Shatta is back. The owner of social media in Ghana is back. Shatta is back. Charlie. Twitter.
Well, he's back. Yes,
And
king
that's
of
the two of them.
the
Before
king of
Ankafo.
social media is back. Yes, but this time he's going to be careful what he puts out there on social media. And I think everybody else is taking a cue from this.
The man says he's doing all this, so it's sort of like a campaign, like the Greater Accra Regional Ministers Let's Make Accra Work campaign. He's on a campaign against false prophets and false prophecies. So he's used himself as a sacrificial lamb.
Well, it's worked, isn't it?
What else? Is the case over?
No, but I haven't seen any prophecies yet. If Shatta Wale wasn't arrested and Jesus Ahonfe 2 wasn't picked up, I'm telling you, it would have gone on and on. And other
But
pastors
we
would
don't
have
hear
picked it up.
prophecies every day. So maybe the prophet, God, he's a timely.
Well,
timely
if you
God.
come and prophesy on social
And
media,
there's no evidence. Hashtag.
damn pyro catch you. So, so we are glad the two of them are back. Hey, let's see what social media will look like today. I'm especially looking out for some crazy memes from the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll share their experiences at Ankafo, which some people are calling Pentecost prison.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
say, is the water clean?
We don't know which beach they went to, so
Which beach they are crying away, clean?
you are from Volta, so you know that some beaches are clean. And
But they
Volta
didn't
is
go
not
to
far away
they
from
did this in Accra. Which beach is clean?
Did they do this in
It
Accra? We
doesn't
don't know
matter.
that.
If the bottom line is they needed salt water to cleanse him. We are in a cultural setting, please, and so he's done that. Can you leave Shatta Wale alone?
No, I'm just worried about the water, that's all.
The salt water.
Shatta Wale is not worried.
No,
So
just let him ride.
observer, don't be worried.
Is the fake kidnapping woman in our trends? Because the lady got 6 years. for
Yes,
taking her the
yeah.
Takrady lady who faked her kidnapping.
Yes.
She got 6 years.
We
That is
talked
a
about
serious
it the
one.
last time.
Well,
But
she
yesterday
was
she was
jailed.
Yesterday
yeah,
was the
yesterday
sentence.
she was
She got
sentenced.
6
Yeah.
Six years.
It tells you that, look, the police is really serious about this, and don't lie. Don't lie about this. You hold the whole country's heart when you say that something horrible like this has happened to you, and it turns out to be false. And the court, I mean, after having her go through the usual pregnancy tests, they just
They set an
slapped
example
her.
for her. She
6
wanted
years.
a ransom of 5,000 CDs from the
5,000.
stepfather. The whole thing
5,000.
collapsed. They were arrested, and then she confessed that it was a joke. Well, 6 years in
It's
jail
not a joke.
is not a joke.
And
you
you're
know.
an ex-con now, when you come out. So
The judge
with
even
all the
said-
challenges that,
The judge said even this is a soft one. She's a first-time offender.
because she
Can you
got
imagine if
she
was
got
not
2
she was not the
years.
first time?
Looking like
She
20
got 2
something.
years was it the false publication or the lie to the public officer, and then she got 6 years for the other.
That's
but then the two are supposed to run side by side, and so that's how come she's getting 6 years. But if she was serving it one term after another, she would have got 8.
6 years from now is what, 2027?
That's a long
She's
time.
missing the next election. And she'll be out when we are almost going into the next
that's
one.
a crazy thing. So please, stop the fake stuff, you know. I was going to say, look, fake nails are good, but not fake kidnapping.
And fake eyebrows and fake hair.
Yes.
And all that. You're not hating him, but
Even,
I don't like
even a fake smile is okay.
Yes,
but not what was it? Not a fake smile. Okay.
Oh.
Let me see. Fake smile.
Baby sweet.
I'm making you do crazy things.
Look. You see, when we are in this business, sometimes you have to ask uncomfortable questions. The BBC yesterday, I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable, but the BBC yesterday engaged the Honourable Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George, on the same promoting of proper sexual rights and Ghanaian values, what we've come to call the anti-LGBTQI plus bill. And people on Twitter are saying he nailed it again.
Yeah, well, you've got to be prepared before you go for interviews. It's not just the guest, but the host as well. You've got to be prepared, ask the right questions, and be prepared for a vigorous discussion. Well, he acquitted himself pretty well. Yes, so there's a piece, a piece of that interview that we have, and we want you to also listen and let us know what you think. The WhatsApp number is 055-5561034. Let us know what you think, and let's listen to Sam George on that interview now.
7 says God created man in his own image, and the image God, he created him male and female. He created them. If he created man and woman in his own image, then he created homosexuals, bisexuals, and transgender people too, didn't he?
Well, Claire, my bill is not a religious bill. It is a bill on cultural values. But if you want to go into the Bible, I'll grant you that. Bible says God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. He says, for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cling to his wife. It didn't say cling to another man. And so if you want to read the Bible, don't read just one part of it. We can read the Bible and go explicitly. Again, the same Bible tells us that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of homosexuality. So when you want to quote the Bible to support homosexuality, let's be very clear.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm merely testing your arguments out as millions of people listening to this around the world.
So that was a portion of the interview with Sam George. The BBC interviewed him on the proposed bill, and those were some of his answers. I'm standing here thinking, you want Sam George on your debate team in school, because he will be very prepared. He will
you want somebody who is prepared. You know, you are ready with arguments, counter-arguments. You are just ready. You just want somebody who is ready. Yeah, if you're not ready, don't go. Yeah.
Did he kill it for you like he did the last time?
Well, he answered the questions and he put his views out there very clearly, so you know where he stands. And
on the Bible argument, and then
she brought the Bible question
who
up,
argued,
and he responded,
and said the Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve.
And you know, politicians like sound bites. Of course, everybody's going to be
so that's going to be trending.
Adam and Steve. And that's the way to speak if you're in the media. You don't have too much time. So in 30 seconds, you've got to say what you have to say so that it gets into the news. Yeah.
Communication consultant.
No, I teach this stuff, so yeah.
Free advice.
Yeah, it's free. Well, he's doing good. He's doing well in terms of laying out his argument. Claire was a bit more prepared than the Larry guy. That guy was just savaged.
Because you realize how after Sam George answered, she comes back to say, well, as a journalist, I just have to present you with the
She wasn't slaughtered. She just put questions out there, the questions that people would want the person to be posed.
To answer.
Yeah, and
I think that's what, I mean, a lot of presenters and TV hosts are looking at the debates going on, and what you're seeing in the back of your head is, if I was the host or I was the presenter, would I be this prepared? Would I not be this prepared? And so I'm sure everybody's in her shoes saying, oh, okay, she was prepared.
Yeah, she asked the right questions, and he responded. Yeah, so cool.
If you're going to interview someone like Sam George, Be prepared.
You have to like
Be prepared. Be prepared.
do your research properly and not sleep.
I'm seeing a video that was posted on our platform, guys, on tracking devices on some pupils, and it's very disturbing. I would want you to have a look at it, and then let's come back and see what we saw. Okay, let's talk about what we saw. So here's the video that we chanced upon. We want to know what you think. Have a look.
Hello, good morning, colleagues. And this is a boy in my class who also met the people. His blood sample was taken and then was given this device to put it on. And I'm going to interview him, and he's going to tell me whatever happened. Okay. Where did you meet them?
Our house.
Your house. Okay. What did they tell you? They gave you what? Bowls and cups. And then they told you to come to St. Mary's School. They took your blood sample. Okay. They gave you this belt to put it on. And what did they tell you the belt is going to do? Your food, where you buy your food. When you got to St. Mary, were there other people there, or you are the only person? A lot of people, school children or only school children? Oh, okay. Okay, remove it. They told you to wear it, and then for 6 days, and they will give you 60 Ghana. Oh, okay. Raise the object very well. They shown you how to tie it. Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
So that's really disturbing, right? For complete strangers to walk up to a pupil, a student, and say, you know what, put this on, I'll give you X amount of money. I think that we are going to really keep an eye on this development. We'll try and follow it up.
Their blood samples were taken.
I think it's one of the teachers who took.
And the interviewer, I mean, we don't know who she is yet, but she kept saying.
She said one of my students. So
okay, so we assume
she's a teacher. I don't know which school that was, but maybe from the uniform we could find out.
Yes.
And then, it's really
we'll
very
keep an eye on that. But then the little boy said their blood samples were taken. Is it for research purposes?
Research, but if there was any official research
without asking,
man, I'll descend on you every time. Why are you taking the blood samples of my children?
You see, and we need to take security seriously again. Like, teach our kids and everybody else. Like, don't speak to strangers.
Because this boy that we are seeing in the video, he's not 2 years old. He's not someone you can give alewa in black and white. And
he said he was giving bowls and cups.
Look, yes. So he's fairly, awake to danger. So he knows what danger means. If they are able to convince him, imagine what they could do to your toddlers if they were to come across from them. And this is an era where we are fighting kidnappings and ransom demands and insecurity. You don't want your children.
Is the syringe clean?
Another question, was he in school? Did he leave school? Was it break time? Was it when he was on his way to school? Was it when he had closed? We need to ask. Yeah, there's so many
more
questions
than answers.
And so it's more than one person, because we are seeing lots of the alleged tracking devices. Well, the police is on the beat, so I'm sure by close of day, we'll know more about this. But this is scary.
We'll find some answers, and we will maybe try and follow it up and see where it takes us. But this is really disturbing.
But if it is,
it's time to talk to our children so that they become more aware of the dangers out there. It's time to let them know stranger danger. I mean, I didn't learn this in Ghana, but don't talk to strangers, people you don't know who may be trying to take advantage of you. Don't do that. And the children need to feel safe. Even in school, security needs to be taken seriously. How many of the security guards in schools actually do protection
who's
jobs.
coming
They
in,
just
who's
make sure that
going
the children
out.
are not misleading.
That's,
Which is not
there are some
their job.
schools that have IDs. Whoever comes to pick their children awards, there's an ID. There's a proper, thorough security process you go through before you have access to any child. So we need to ask, where was this child first when the people approached him? Okay. He said he was going to be given 60 Ghana cedis after 6 days.
It's a worrying situation, and would want to keep focus on that and ask some questions to some authorities and see where it takes us. Our cheese quiz for today. So we've already given out some vouchers. So today there's an opportunity to get other vouchers out. The question we're asking is, Ghana Enterprises Agency was formerly known as, the Ghana Enterprises Agency had a name before. So there's been a name change and it's now Ghana Enterprises Agency. What was it called before? Okay, that's our cheesy quiz for today, and it's brought to us by Cheesy Pizza. You answer this question correctly, first 3 people, you get the opportunity to win a voucher to get yourself a delicious pizza from Cheesy Pizza. Okay, so fastest fingers first. We'll look for the first 3 people who sent correct answers, and we'll give them vouchers to get pizza. All right? Okay, so we are still going to go on with our conversations and our sit-downs. We're looking at bipolar disorders today. What's it like to live with a condition? What's it like to be diagnosed with a condition? What kind of help is out there? We'll be having our regular sit-down with the Minerals Commission later on in the show. We'll have some people from the they are implementing the 5-year Power to You program, and they will be on the show to explain what all that means. You know, the youth are said to be the future of the country, so is this meant to give them an extra boost in their quest to achieve all their dreams? We'll be looking into all that. We are monitoring traffic, we are keeping an eye on locations across the country, and we'll water it all down on the Yellow Couch, which is brought to you by Airtel Tigo, with that conversation about unearthing talent. So you don't want to miss any bit of this. Follow our social media handles. Let us know what you think across our social media platforms, and also on our WhatsApp number 055 556134. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show.
From farmlands and forests and towns. They are gathered from farmlands and forests and towns. Navasco is 60 years old. Hooray! Navrongo Senior High School, in conjunction with all Navascans, Nabia, invites you to the 60th anniversary.
Hashtag GTV Breakfast. Good morning. Welcome to the show. You just joined us. You've missed 30 minutes, but no worry. No worries. You have another 3 hours of the show. Big stories in the headlines we'll be dealing with. But for now, we're looking at bipolar disorder. When does a mood swing become something really serious and requires that you need to speak to a doctor? This conversation is coming up after this short break brought to you by Lufat, a brand of anti-malarial that you can really trust. Product of the Year at the Ghana Farmer Awards 2021, and it comes in the form of suspension for kids and for tablets for adults. Lufat, proud to bring you our health segment right here on hashtag GTV Breakfast. We'll be back after this.
The show was a jar or bar any unconcrete dim.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat. Lufat.
Woman malaria and kawan to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a compare. And now you may kiss the bride. Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat, a two malaria sententem. FDA, I can say that you can't do it. I just say a ye.
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before, creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will
This health segment is brought to you by Lufat, WHO. It's an antimalarial medicine with 2 WHO recommended ingredients, artemether and lumefantrine, scientifically combined in the same formulation. Comes in the form of suspension for kids and tablets for adults. It's used to manage malaria caused by all forms of the malaria parasite. Take the artemether for 3 days for effective results. It's a brand of anti-malarial that you can absolutely trust. And it was the product of the year at the Ghana Farmer Awards 2021. We're proud to be associated with this brand for the health segment of the show. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. If you have any questions on our topic today, and our topic today is bipolar disorder. When the highs are high, they are high, and when the lows come, they are really low. But when there's a mood swing, becomes something that needs you to see a doctor or a clinical psychologist. I have 2 of them rolled into one. He's a medical doctor and a clinical psychologist, and he's my guest for today's show, Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
When does a mood change or swing become what is known as bipolar disorder?
And so I think that generally we all have these mood swings. In the month, things may not go well. But for these people, they have extreme mood changes, swings between the highs and the lows. And so I put it this way: at one point they're on top of the world, at another point the world is on top of them, and they swing in between the two. You know, so they may have breaks. So in a year they may have multiple episodes with breaks in between, and so it impairs their functioning. So one of the critical things we notice is that it impairs their function in 4 ways, either causing personal distress. So they're in a certain kind of discomfort or pain, emotional or physical pain because of that.
You can actually feel physical pain from bipolar.
Emotional pain causes physical pain. You know, that's why someone has a heartbreak. You
actually physically
feel it. So they have this. So emotional pain can also be physical pain. You know, then also dysfunction. What it means is that they are not able to go about their normal activities the way they should. So they wake up, they don't do anything. You know, depending on what the swing is. If it's a manic episode, we have manic episode and depressive episode. Manic is the emotional high. Depressive episode is the emotional low. You know, the manic episode, and the depressive episode. Maybe I'll go into details a bit. Then when I talk about dysfunction, you're able to go about it, wake up, working, sleeping, and all that becomes difficult. Then damage to everything around them. Relationship is affected, school is affected, work is affected, and they seem not to have control over whatever is happening to them. Then also deviation from social norms. That is when societal issues become a problem, because they can't actually fit in when those episodes, are happening. And so that affects their functioning. So that is how we determine what is normal from what is not normal.
Okay.
It affects your functioning, and you seem not to have control over. So the manic episodes, they have this euphoria, they become impulsive, they become highly irritable, and there's this burst of energy. So this guy who is at work, or this girl who is at work, suddenly becomes very bubbly, all over the place, talking, unusually, engaged in all kinds of activities at work. There's this burst of energy, euphoria. It's like they're on top of the world, and they actually spend too much. Even their color combination may be too much. They may get involved in crime-related, behavior, sex-related, activities, without actually thinking about when they're in that manic episode.
Are they conscious of what is going on?
They are not conscious. If you actually see them in their manic episode, you know there is something wrong, because that's not the usual. And they may not even notice, that is, they may be aware that this one is a bit too much, but they may not have that control over. So that's why they get involved in all kinds of things. And when they are in their lows, the depressive episode is also very terrible. They lose energy. It's like the opposite of that. They lose energy, they have sleep problems, eating problems, loss of interest, concentration will be a problem. And most importantly, they may have some suicidal tendencies. And that is very serious, especially with a lot of men who may commit suicide, maybe as a result of bipolar.
Why is it that men are more susceptible to suicide when they are suffering bipolar?
Generally, men die more from suicide than women. One, because men actually do not talk about their emotional problems and they don't seek help. Two, men are likely to use more effective ways of killing themselves than women. Women attempt suicide 3 times more. Men die 4 times more from suicide than women, because women actually seek help. They actually talk about their emotional problems, and they are likely to use less effective ways of killing themselves. So by the time they die, someone will come and see them. So anytime, I don't want to mention some of the ways because it's on TV.
Exactly.
We don't want to mention some
exactly.
But women use less effective methods than men. And so bipolar, men are more likely to experience more severe episodes than women, but women may experience more of the depressive episodes more than men. Men more manic episodes,
and women
more of the depressive, because of all their mood changes, even with their mental and hormonal changes here and there. Women hormonal changes are way different from men, because of all the things that.
Exactly.
Yes.
In your practice, how common is bipolar disorder?
Well, worldwide, it may be between about 20 to 40 million worldwide, and that is very, very significant. I don't have the figures for Ghana.
But in a month, how many of such cases do you see?
The problem with bipolar is that we actually tend to miss the diagnosis because of the perceptions about mental illnesses. For example, you have a child who is all over the place and have these mood swings and irritable and easily angered and all that. We actually brand them as bad boys, bad girls, and you are stubborn. And so that branding actually stops us from seeking help for them. So we actually misdiagnose or underdiagnose, bipolar. So usually in their teen years or even in childhood, we may miss it. So usually in their 20s, where they themselves actually notice that there's something wrong, or maybe a parent now starts paying attention. That okay, you're in your 20s, I think this boy kind of childhood kind of behavior should have stopped. You should have been thinking about your own life and all that. But the child is still misbehaving. So that is when they actually become alarmed and they go seek help. And so that is the problem. So we actually do not...
you miss the diagnosis.
We miss it because of some of these things.
Okay. What causes bipolar disorder?
So generally, we have multiple factors, and we have biological and environmental problems. So biologically, what we say, body systems and structure and how they function. So there are actual brain changes with bipolar. And a lot of mental health issues actually because of brain changes. So we have these neurochemical changes in the brain that is responsible for how we feel, our thought patterns and our behavior and all that. The brain is actually the one responsible for these things. That is why, for example, if someone has a stroke, you know, because blood supply is impaired in the brain and some part of the brain is affected, it affects every aspect of the person. So the brain is actually, you know, the seat for all mental processes and all that.
Like the engine room.
Yes, like the engine room. And so there's some changes in the brain that is responsible for bipolar. So you can't blame people for whatever they're going through. Actually, we tend to blame people for things like that because we don't know the actual brain changes. Two, and also genetic influences. It means that if you have a first-degree relative in your family who has some mental illness or bipolar, the likelihood that someone else in the family would have it is...
What is a first-degree relative?
It means that someone who is closer to you, maybe, what do you call it, a parent or a sibling or probably a cousin. You know, so those who are immediate.
How about a child? It's a child effect.
Yeah, so yes, so that's it.
Okay.
So that is it. Then also environmental stresses. You know, for example, someone goes through some traumatic event, so the risk may be there. Then that becomes a trigger. So if you look at people with bipolar, you know, if you're able to control the risk or the triggers, you realize that the episodes actually will reduce.
Would COVID be considered as a trigger for...
COVID is a trigger for everything. Even financial problems, COVID is a trigger for. So all stressful situations, it can be, you know, some events at home that is not conducive, maybe abuse or neglect or something, relationship problems, mental problems. Yeah. So all triggers, financial problems, work-related stresses, they can be triggers for episodes. Then also drug-related problems, you know, like substance abuse and stuff like that. All those things.
Drug use can trigger bipolar.
Yes. As in terms of you may have an underlying risk, but your risk for developing it goes high with these risk factors.
What kind of drugs are we talking about?
Those all drugs.
Marijuana?
Yeah, all of them. So all substance-related problems, even including alcohol, actually there are risk factors for development of all kinds of mental health problems.
How about cigarettes?
So cigarettes, we can add that because all those things, people use substances to actually cope with life situations. So,
prescription drugs?
Yes, prescription drugs.
Okay.
You know, so all these ones become risk factors for development of some of these problems.
So, how is bipolar disorder treated?
Well, we actually, especially for mental illnesses, we actually adopt a holistic approach. What it means is that we don't use one approach. So we use physical, mental, and social, and also spirituality as a coping for, you know, as a treatment.
Let's start with spirituality. I'm interested in that one.
Okay, so spirituality means that everything people do under spirituality maximizes their mental well-being. For example, prayer and meditation. It's been shown all over the world that prayer and meditation actually maximizes people's mental well-being. One, they actually do not die, you know, early. People who are spiritual, spirituality actually is protective because they may adopt certain lifestyles. You know, their perspective about life improves. Their coping is better. They are dealing with emotional problems like depression, anxiety, and bipolar-related problems is better because of all the activities that is involved when it comes to spirituality.
So pray more to live more.
It helps. You know, so there are all kinds of research that have shown that these practices are protective.
All right. And then the other ways.
So mental health, actually, we actually may do some psychotherapy to help them manage their triggers.
What's that? What's psychotherapy?
Psychotherapy is when you meet a therapist and they engage you in a certain conversation and some treatment modalities to help you think, feel, and behave well. And usually psychologists and psychiatrists, sometimes then also counselors. They're involved in that. So psychotherapy helps. Then family therapy and psychotherapy, where we actually have to engage your family members in some kind of therapy, help them understand what is happening, help them actually cope with what is happening, and provide their support.
So does the family come to the session, or you go?
Yeah, they come. You have to invite the parents and people, the guardians, and people around them.
Then for people who live alone, that's risky.
Yeah, it becomes difficult because they need to be supported. You can't have bipolar without support. It won't work. Even to be able to take, then the physical health measures is medications. There are medications we give to actually control their symptoms and also maximize all the neurochemical changes here and there to help them. Because some of them may even have psychotic symptoms associated with that. That is when there's a break away from reality. They may have, when we talk about the madness-related kind of symptoms. The self-care becomes poor. They may have hallucinations, paranoia, and stuff like that.
Can it be totally 100% eradicated? Or
it's a lifelong kind of problem. But your episodes can be reduced if you maintain medications and also you receive the right support from all the therapies I've talked about. If it's maintained, actually the frequency of episodes actually reduce. So that is why you may find some people with bipolar and you may hear about them too much, or what do you call it? Their episodes may be too much, depending on how they actually submit to treatment or respond to treatment.
So this is something that has to be managed lifelong. It's a lifelong thing.
Yes, usually it's a lifelong thing. But the episodes and the severity of symptoms can actually be managed. There are people who have bipolar, you may never know. You may never know. You may never even hear about them. I know people who have finished medical school and they have bipolar. Who are into all kinds of problems. And they are bipolar, and you may not even notice. Maybe you may have some episodes where they may have to be admitted for some time to actually manage them properly, and they go back to work, and they're fine. Functioning is fine.
As we wrap up, what's a word of hope you can leave with those living with bipolar or family members who have to live with someone living with the disorder?
I think that they can function only if they receive the right help. We shouldn't make it a personal issue. Or a moral issue or a judgment kind of issue. We should actually seek help for everybody who has some form of mental illness. Thankfully, now almost every time you tune into some station like this morning, which I really appreciate that we're talking about it, mental health issues is being discussed everywhere. And I think that is positive. And I think GTV is doing very well with that.
On that laudatory note, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur is a medical doctor and a clinical psychologist. We've been talking about bipolar disorder. If you have any questions, send them to us on 055-556-1034, and we will pass the questions on to Dr. Newman Arthur. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
All right. Another person who will be enjoying her day, or who has started enjoying her day, fake smile or not, is Valerie. Give me the fake smile before you continue.
The peaceful day come. Right, welcome to this side. We are going to be connecting to my colleague Jay Gabra. Jay is going to be bringing us traffic updates from the Lekma intersection, Lekma bus stop area, and he's on our screens now. Jay, good morning. What can you report? What's happening at the Lekma bus stop?
Yeah, good morning, Val. Thank you so much. How are you doing? Like you rightly said, this morning I'm at the Lekma intersection, also known as the Lekma bus stop. This is here in Teshi, and this is where I'll be bringing you the rush hour updates from. So from this area, you can get to any number of destinations. For instance, this is the Manette Road, and all this way takes you to Manette Estate, all the way to Sprinters Road, Manette Junction on the Sprinters Road. If you're looking at this side presently, you realize that traffic is flowing smoothly for those who are coming from that side, and for those heading in that direction, it's also free flowing for them as well. You will notice that there are some taxis who are parked, commercial vehicles who are parking right on the shoulders of the road there, and what happens is, because of the way they are parked, it's not a right bus stop for them to be, so it impedes traffic for a while for people who have to use that side. But what happens is, you also realize passengers also want to stay there and board the vehicle, so they have no option than to stop there as well. While standing here, some police have come and sacked a number of drivers, but as soon as they left, some more came to park there as well. So this is what's happening right now for those who are heading to the Manette Junction and those who are coming from there. So if we turn our attention now to those who are coming from Triblow, you can tell traffic is picking up from there because people are using this side to also avoid traffic on the main Teshinungwa Road. For instance, those who are coming from Spintex and Sakmono. So you realize that traffic is picking up for them a bit. And then, so for those heading to this side, that's what you'll be facing. There are also some gravels you can see at the far end. You realize that because the road is not really tarred at the moment, pray work is started soon so they can asphalt the road so that the road will be smooth sailing for drivers who will be usually by the side. Because I want to bring your attention now to this big pothole which is right at the junction for those who are turning Triblow. Because what happens is, because of the rain that happened last night, you can tell if you are not careful, you may not know how deep it is, and then you may pass there and may destroy your car. And that's not the only problem. There is an open drain right on the main road itself. You see, if you are not familiar with the road, I advise that for road users who are not familiar with the road, please be very, very careful when using this road. The road may be smooth, but please be advised, please be careful. And so for those who are heading into Teshi, who are heading to the main road itself, heading into maybe Accra or 37, you won't face that much traffic. And then this intersection is quite troublesome because there's no traffic light. So if you are turning into a main road, it becomes quite difficult. Of course, this area is this road was done as a result of the Lekma Hospital. That's the Lejukukrowo Municipality Assembly Hospital, and which is located right here. It's a government facility that was built with the Chinese government as a friendship gesture between us and them. So completed within 6 months. It was inaugurated on the 21st of December 2010. So thanks to this hospital, it has a lot of facilities for patients and all that. So this has been the rush hour update from the Lekma intersection. Back to you, Val, in the studio.
All right, Jay, thank you very much for those updates. That was my colleague Jay who came to us from the Lekma intersection with traffic updates. Traffic hasn't started yet, but because of that gaping pothole in the middle of the road, traffic will build up soon, so you might want to leave home or go on your Google Maps app and then try and look for an alternative route. We'll be connecting shortly with Alan, who is also on standby at a location in Accra. I'll be giving you the location shortly, but the show is made possible by our Wake Purified Water, Adonko Shield, Adonko Energy Drink, Shield Acrylic Paint, Cheesy Pizza, Airtel Tigo is responsible for my side of the couch, the yellow couch, later on in the show for the lifestyle segment. And then also Lufat anti-malarial taps is on board and is making this show possible. We're also live on Facebook. We are streaming live on Facebook actually and YouTube, and so you can like and share our pages and send your comments in. Alan is on our screen and he's coming to us from the Odoko traffic intersection, and he's going to give us traffic updates. Good morning, Alan. What's happening on your side of town?
Hey, good morning, Valerie, and good morning, Ghana. Welcome to #GTV Breakfast. This is Rush Hour coming to you live from Odoko intersection in the Greater Accra region, specifically in the Ablekuma North municipality. Traffic situation this morning is normal due to the functioning of the traffic lights. However, there are a few things I need to bring your attention to. And so if you're on your way from, say, Bawe, Kaswa and its environs, and you're heading towards Accra on the main Accra-Kaswa highway, traffic flow at the Odoko intersection is down to 5 minutes. It's down to 5 minutes. And so you are okay and would not necessarily have to be in a rush. Let me also bring you what traffic is from the Odoko station, which is very close to the intersection and makes its way from the station, Odoko station, and this would also bring traffic coming down from parts of Nyamiche and also Pashima, Soltuom, and making their way through the Odoko intersection towards Kanishi, Accra, and the Graphic Road areas. It is also a relatively cool flowing traffic. You'd wait at the light for about 5 minutes. However, beyond the station, which is what you can see from where I am, but our eye in the sky will give you a benefit of that, there is a slow tailback from that part due to the trotros who wait right at the junction from the station to drop off or pick up passengers. Now let me pan over to those coming in or filing in from the Busia junction, approaching the intersection, and beyond there towards the Kanishi and the graphic road areas. That traffic would also hold you for between 4 to 5 minutes, and you'll be okay to go. It's also a very long tailback from the Odoko intersection. It travels beyond the Busia junction, and this is to the benefit of those who live in and around Odoko, or those who travel across here who knows the intersection very well. The tailback waiting at the intersection from the Busia junction travels beyond the Busia junction, and our eye in the sky will give you a good benefit of that. It goes way beyond the Busia junction, past the Anointed Hand Electricals, and then even beyond that, going towards the Sacrament junction. Indeed, once you're let to flow, you get a smooth flowing and you go relatively faster. What you cannot see from here is the attitude or behavior of some Okada riders. It is appalling and it's nothing to write home about. Even when the traffic is red, Okada riders will not hold. They will push their way through. And being here, we have seen instances where there was near collision between commuters and motor riders who have passengers without helmets on their back, or pillion riders who have no helmet whatsoever riding through the traffic. The presence of the police here would help bring a certain sanity, especially to Okada riders who have no regard whatsoever to motor traffic or the highway code. Now we're looking at traffic coming in from Kaneshi approaching the Odoko intersection. As I mentioned earlier, the traffic lights are functional, fully functional, and so traffic control or management at this intersection is okay. Right. There is one other thing I intended to mention earlier, but I think he's realized it and so he's moved away. There's a man at this intersection who has a banner across his chest that says, "I am deaf and dumb, please help." This I refer to our social services in this country, especially the Ministry for those who takes care of this disabled people. This is very unsightly and it doesn't augur well for tourism in Ghana. This is the traffic situation at the Odoko intersection, coming to you on #GTV Breakfast. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio, Val.
And so that was Alan who came to us with traffic updates from that part of the capital. Later on in the show, you might want to stick and stay because we're still going to discuss what's happening across the headlines later on with Kaf and his team on the headlines. We'll also be having a conversation around a program that's centered on the youth. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast, guys. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. We'll take a quick break.
Live from GB's Studio 1.
And they call me UJ. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, we just back to the next level. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumping, so we try to suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do. We dey go straight to stardom. And I gonna take you to next level. Oh, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy like a fool. But baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I gonna take you to next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group Celebrate 100 Years and to create another brilliant 100 years together.
I am 7 years old. Beep, beep, beep. I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your own.
#GTV Breakfast. It's so delightful to have you join us for breakfast. And if you are leaving home, don't get into a state of mourning that, oh, Charlie, I'm about to lose whatever they're saying. Yeah, what is wrong? No, just take your phone out, look for Facebook, look for YouTube, look for Twitter, and look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Just follow us, and the live stream will take you wherever you are going. It's good to have you here. It's now time for the headlines. My guests to my far left is Mr. Yao Amnachi Frimpong, a historian and a lawyer. Good morning, Mr. Frimpong. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
And seated next to him is Bernard Odro Tichi, who's the regional coordinator of the Commonwealth Alliance of Young Entrepreneurs, an agribusiness person, an award-winning farmer. Good to have you here, BOT.
Yeah, good morning, Kalfu.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, gentlemen. How are things going?
Fine.
Fantastic. What's new in the legal world?
The Supreme Court verdict to the effect that Justice Wenyanuga could continue trying the case involving Dr. Penny.
Fantastic.
That's the latest.
That's one of our big headlines. We'll deal with that. Okay. And Bernard, in your world of entrepreneurship and agribusiness, what is fresh and brand new that we should know?
I think, Kalfu, the most interesting development is the statement by the Finance Minister encouraging young people to look at entrepreneurship as a way to go. For me, I think in principle, I endorse the statement because the world is growing so fast that, I mean, the public sector, whether you like it or yes, is going to be choked. And it will only take self-employment and entrepreneurship to provide that gap. But where I have a challenge with that statement is about the fact that you don't just make that pronouncement and leave people to their fate. You have that statement ought to be backed by some political commitment and will. So that young person from UPSA, UCC, Winneba University must complete and come out and say that, okay, if I want to go into buying and selling, manufacturing, anything retailing, these are the support system. Okay. So for me, in my candid view, that support system is lacking.
And we need it.
When we expect the finance ministry to do better, they can do better.
Okay. So as a way of the headlines and just jumping into the entrepreneurship, yesterday we had an entrepreneur, an award-winning entrepreneur, Mr. Tony Jamafe from Caveman Watches, and he said, listen, not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Right. And then yesterday also trending, and then they will show the video. So we had a video on our Facebook page which has racked up tens of thousands of views. Right. What is it? It's just a queue, a long queue of people trying to get into fire service.
Right.
And the queue stretched from the Bukom Sports Complex all the way to the Fire Academy training school. 2.5 minutes of just people standing in a queue. And that's it. You can see it right there. This was yesterday.
Sure.
And they're all looking for a job. They all want to enter fire.
Yeah.
We spoke to two gentlemen who said they wanted to be billionaires. How? They want to enter into immigration to become billionaires. So there's a lot going on in terms of lack of jobs, but even orientation as to why am I doing the work? What are the opportunities available? It says one payroll is full, but then look at all the people who are looking for jobs in state institutions. There's a lot going on. How do you decouple all that stuff and make sense?
Kafui, myself being an entrepreneur, I think that there are two kinds of entrepreneurs. There are those who are born with that flair. They have that fortitude, the tenacity of purpose. And there's something called the Midas touch. Anything they touch ends up to be money. People like Dangote from the Dan Tata family. Dan Tata virtually loaned out big money to Dangote. So Dangote is Dangote not because he had that flair. The family roots gave him the starting point. But people are desperate. You can see, selling cassette from Kumasi all the way. These are people, they are street smart guys. They look at the challenge, they take the risk, and these are born ones. You have the accidental entrepreneurs. These are people who, they complete school 3, 4, 5, 10 years, they have no job. They become frustrated. And as a matter of fact, that burning desire drove them to so those are accidental. They don't have the flair, they are not born to be, but necessity is the mother of invention. Now, I watched that video of the young guy said that he wants to be a billionaire through immigration. I understand him. He can become intrapreneur. There are two things. Entrepreneurs are those who come from nowhere, dismantle the social norm. And you have the intrapreneur. Intrapreneurs are people, he's the immigration service. But having worked there for years, he sees a challenge. And he tackles it from intra within. So the statement the guy made, people might not understand, but as an entrepreneur, I do.
Thank you for that new perspective. People seem to be blasting this.
They don't understand him because, you see, there are people who have set up consultancy firms for, let's say, aviation because they have worked there. People work in the Ministry of Agri, Trade, Industry, and later become consultant. It is because having worked there, you see the loophole, the challenge, and you capitalize on that to make money. So the statement the guy made, people don't understand him. If he can put his thought together, work in immigration for, let's say, 5 to 10 years, identify a gap over there, come out of it, set up a big industry, he can become a billionaire.
So bottom line, know the kind of person you are, and then be open for opportunities to take advantage of them.
Careful with me, I love money. And money stops nonsense, let's admit it.
That's a quote for the morning.
Sure.
Money stops nonsense.
You can't work to despite and start fooling. You can't. So once you have that assumption, that, conviction in you, you must look at what you can do to make money. You see, money is like an alcohol. The least you taste, the more you want to taste. That is why every millionaire wants to be a billionaire, and billionaire wants to be a trillionaire. So every society has challenges. And for me, more Ghanaians can be millionaires than more Americans can be because there are more challenges here now than America.
That needs solving. All right. Mr. Frimpong, any comments on that before we jump into legal issues?
Well, what I would say, based on the statement you made to the effect that the whole Accra, almost the whole of Accra was choked yesterday. Everybody is talking about it. And I like the word you used, lack of opportunities. You see, our problem in this country is that our governments have made us to accept that everybody would need to go to school to become somebody. Yes, it has to be. But I believe that as it started in the First Republic, and I also know that General Champon emphasized it deeply, that technical education, artisanship, and then agric training. I remember even secondary schools were set up with agric tax, like in Crawford Agricultural Secondary School. That is to tell you that we have to imbibe what Achimota started with some time ago, that the person must be able to use the hand, the heart, and the head. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have all been made to think that we have to be academics.
Only head.
Only the head. So when they come up, many of the students come out of school, they get frustrated. So if we had concentrated more on technical education and had not progressed our polytechnic institutions into universities, we call them
technical universities.
Technical universities. When indeed, when you get to the polytechnics, more than 80% of the programs are academic oriented and not artisanship. And so we have produced so many of them, accountants, HR, whatever.
Marketers.
And then at the end of the day, there are no jobs to help these people to achieve whatever reason they want.
That we saw yesterday.
Now let us go back. When Ghana had independence, we had a population of just around 4 to 5 million. Then in the 60s, we were in 6 million. Even there, the first president realized that we were turning out so many graduates than the employment avenues could afford them places. As a result, he brought in a crash program, Agricultural Development Corporation, whereby in every region, every piece of land had to be used for agricultural purposes, so that instead of importing land cruisers, buses, whatever, we needed then to import tractors. And at the end of the day, Ghana was able to create jobs for our people. When General Champon became the head of state, we all know that he introduced this Operation Feed Yourself system, where he changed the focus of state enterprises to private enterprises. And Ghana started at that time producing millionaires like Dako Farms, Apente, and then name them. This man in Tata, Bizesian, you understand? And these were people creating a lot of jobs. And I also know that Dr. Liman invited a very big entrepreneur called B.M. Mensah, Meridian Tobacco, and asked him, please, what can you do so that when I give you money, when the state gives you money, you will be able to employ a lot of people? Apart from these three, ask yourself which government has been able to do that. I believe that the challenge is still there. If you are traveling from Techiman or Kintampo to the north, or you go to the Volta region, you see that we have vast areas of land. And every tourist from another country to this place will not understand why we import food or why we are begging.
A lot of them think that it's under cultivation until you tell them that
and so we have to do that. National service persons must not be made to be directing traffic. They should be put to very good use, and at the end of the day, Ghana will become a first world country.
National service, the people must not be made to direct traffic. They must be put to good use, said Yao Anochi Frimpong. What do you think? 055-556-1034. Looking into the papers, there's one piece of news that has transcended all the papers, and it has to do with the Supreme Court. So the Ghanaian Times reports it as Supreme Court retains Justice Honyanuga to handle court financial loss case. The finder says Supreme Court reinstates judge in Opuni's trial, and Daily Graphic reports Supreme Court directs Honyanuga to continue with Opuni trial. Why is this significant, Mr. Frimpong?
It is extremely significant, considering that under our constitution we have three arms of government: the executive headed by the president, made up of politicians, and then parliament also made up of politicians, and then the judiciary that oversees the actions of everybody, including the other two. Now, the decision that was made or taken yesterday, the verdict that was delivered yesterday, going deep into it, let me start from something like ethnicity. Now, one of the judges who voted against Honyanuga sitting as the trial judge, at least I know, was Justice Doche. Now, consider where the two of them are coming from. If it had been in the area of politics, he would have considered his brother. Talking about judiciary. And so his reputation and then the essence of law, justice and fairness was what prevailed. Number two, I believe that any of the judges there might have their own orientation altogether. They put everything aside and then individual judgments came to play. Thirdly, if it had been politicians, I believe that, let's say MPP or NDC, they would have taken into consideration the fact that Justice Onyenuga is a Supreme Court judge sitting as an additional High Court judge. And so therefore, when the matter appeared, even in the first instance before them, they would have considered their comradeship that, oh, there is one of us and who can challenge his presiding of that case. They didn't do that.
Why was there an issue with him? Just give us some background as to why he has had to be reinstated. It presupposes that he was taken off and now he's been brought back. Why did that happen?
Oh, very simple. What happened was that, and what happens always is that in most criminal cases, at a certain point, when your lawyer, lawyer for the accused person feels that the case should not continue because it is not criminal, that means he will have to file something called a submission of no case to truncate the trial if it becomes successful, so that you don't disturb the person, trample upon his human rights, advertise or market him everywhere, and only in the end to say that this man is not guilty. When you file it, the court has a discretion to judge whether the case should be truncated or not. In his case, the judge refused the submission of no case and asked him to open his defense. And in it, certain comments he made the counsel for Opuni and the other accused persons to believe that this man had gone so deep as to show bias against their client. As a result, he would have to be removed, because once there is, justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done.
So who removed Justice Onyenuga the first
when
time?
it happens that way, your lawyer makes an application called certiorari. If it is a High Court trying the case, then the only place to go is the Supreme Court. If it is any court or any trial which is below the High Court, then the application goes to the High Court. So it went to the Supreme Court. And when it went to the Supreme Court, they always sit by odd numbers, and the regular panel is 5, and it became 3-2. If it had been a unanimous verdict, that would have been the end. When it is 3-2, it is so close as to say that there is an opportunity for your counsel to go a step further, and that is the review stage. In the review stage, still operating by odd numbers, they will add 2 judges.
So now it became 7 judges?
It became 7.
And what was the verdict this time?
The verdict was that the 2 who came voted for Justice Onyenuga to continue.
So now it's 4-3 in favor of Justice Onyenuga getting back.
And that is in favor of the state, actually.
And so now what happens there? Can the 4-3 decision be re-reviewed?
No, that is it. At this time, yes.
What do you think the emotions of Dr. Opuni's representatives would be? How they feel?
They will feel that the justice you were seeking has actually been done, because in the first place, you went to the apex court of the country. And because we know that wisdom is not the prerogative of only one person, the prerogative of one person. Always the appellate courts sit in several numbers, unlike trial courts where it is one. And so if the apex court, even above the regular panel, has told you that the case will have to be tried by the trial judge, I believe that that is convincing enough. And with them as lawyers, they will take it as it is. Then second, it also puts some, I don't want to use the word fear, but I believe that it cautions the trial judge to be a bit more cautious with his pronouncements, and then more so with the trial at stake, that the whole nation is watching you. As you rightly said, almost every platform is talking about this piece of news. So this Onyenuga judge is now going to realize that all the 31 million people of Ghana are watching me, and I don't have to disappoint them.
And finally, so what next in this trial?
What next is that he would continue to try the case. And another next thing is that where they are not satisfied with the ultimate judgment he gives, the door of justice is always open. They will make an appeal, and his reputation will be at stake. So he will do even much more better.
Awesome. Bernard, we've been having some legal education here. Any comments on this?
I know I have an unofficial background in the law. After university, I started this access call for LLB students and BL to Makola in Ghana.
Really?
Yes, I had centers all over, Tamale, Kumasi, Accra here. I had never gone to law school. But I thought that anytime they were going to pursue this LLB and the BL, they write access course. But I didn't see any institute in Ghana running access course for them. So I started this in 2013. I had banners all over the country, and I was employing lawyers to be my instructors. And what I did was that I sat alone to review this entire constitution like more than 10 times, from chapter 1 to the last article. I read it more than 10 times in the country. And I saw some of the loopholes in this very constitution without not being a lawyer. And I was instructing. As of today, about 50 people have passed through my hands to be lawyers, and they are practicing. But I've never been to the law school. Let me put this out. I have a shortfall for Dr. Opuni because of my background in agriculture and the fertilizer business we want to do. We took time to study under all the reigns of CEOs of cocoa board, how cocoa perform under their sector. If you look at it within a chain, Dr. Opuni stands to be one of the best CEOs for cocoa board in terms of productivity outcome. So it makes me a bit worried when he's going through some of all. But these matters of law are matters of law. I realize in pursuit of law that the court is not for the truth, it's for evidence. You don't go to court to tell the truth. You go to court to look at evidence you have. So an allegation can be leveled against you, a claim can be leveled against you. You can have the truth. But when you enter the room of the court, it is not about the truth you know, it's about the evidence available. So for me, yes, this is a contentious case. And in the history of this country, this could be a landmark case in terms of case studies and jurisprudence. And everybody is watching. Law students are watching, legal practitioners are watching, friends of the court are also watching. And for me, I do side with lawyer Frimpong. I mean, if the integrity and the reputation of the sitting judge is on the line, and everybody is saying that this case is purely political, if indeed he wants to make the whole world to believe that it is not, the ball is in his court. It is either you look at letting justice prevail, or if it's politically motivated, serving some paymasters. But I think that looking at the controversy so far, they're just going to be extremely careful. And I also do believe that, lawyers said, the doors of justice will not be closed if the verdict comes out. Dr. Opuni and the other agriculture CEO will have the opportunity to even go further. But I know the truth. The truth is not in the court. It's about the evidence. So at least let us go to the full. I don't want to give prejudicial comments. Let's allow the field of justice to grind, and let's see how the issue goes. The whole world is following. And I do want to say that I also call on all social media commentators, journalists to be extremely careful. In as much as in matters of law, public opinion counts. This is a contentious case.
Do you think there's a risk that this case may be politicized?
It is from day one. It is. I mean, and I don't want to also sound political, but then if you look at the kind of allegation that were leveled when another party was in opposition, the kind of things said about Dr. Opuni, the kind of things were made to believe he has done. When, I mean, the evidence, the charge sheet or wherever was laid before in court, you could realize that those things were not manifesting. So it kind of looked like, okay, let us find somebody to serve as a scapegoat. Let's find somebody to walk around and show that, oh, we put one person in prison. It is the thinking of many people. And of course, I mean, this country is turning between two colors, the blue and the green. And if you made the green to believe that you are hunting their people, there is an added intrigue that said there, so longer the tail of the cow will not remain at the, I mean, automatically one day, I mean, power can shift hands.
Give me the full meaning of the proverb. I want to hear it.
Said the
okay, and then in English.
So longer the tail of the cow will not remain in the hands of the cow itself, not in the hands of the priest. Because one day, power can change hands. And whatever, precedent you set in law become there's something called judgment cases. So when they are giving their verdict, judge-made laws, it becomes a law. You have the Constitution of Ghana, Act of Parliament, judge-made laws, customary, these are there. So when you make a verdict, it becomes judge-made laws. So one day, a lower court might also sit on the same case, and the verdict you gave in the high court could serve as an inspiration And I want to call on the government to tread cautiously because power can change hands. And the precedents you set today will be the yesterday that will come back to bite you.
I was speaking to...
on that, can I just...
Yes, go ahead, briefly before we move to the next
Very
topic.
briefly.
Yes.
You see, the fundamental problem with this country is that the moment a new government comes to power, we change Chief of Defense Staff, IGP, and then the juicy state enterprises, VRA, ECG, Bank of Ghana, you change all the
Those are the juicy ones, eh?
And a lot more. You see, with that, the government has already politicized the entity. And so the moment that government is not in power, and then another government comes, when, in the case of Opini, who was appointed by NDC government, whenever there is such a criminal case against him, if there is a criminal case against you, there's nothing wrong about that. The state only suspects that you have committed crime, but it doesn't mean that you have proved to be a criminal.
Evidence has to be found.
Evidence has to be found. But it becomes politicized because of the nature in which you were appointed. And so if government comes to power, and then they will stay away from making appointments at the top, apart from ministerial and DCEs, then when anybody is brought before court, it will not be a political matter. Okay. In this case, NDC feels he is their man. Okay. Why should it be so?
Why should it be so? And what views do you have? Are they contrary to or supportive of my guests in the studio? Mr. Yao Anochi Frimpong is a lawyer and a historian, and Bernard Odro Techi, aka BOT, is a regional coordinator for the Commonwealth Alliance of Young Entrepreneurs. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. We've been talking about issues of the Supreme Court and the reinstatement of Justice Honyenuga, as well as labor and employment-related issues. Comment here coming in from Benjamin Kwame Opari. Yes, I agree. National service personnel should be put to good use. Thank you so much for your feedback. There's a lot more coming in on our WhatsApp, which I'll bring to you shortly. Let's talk about MMDCE, since you touched on it very briefly about the appointments that should be made by the president. So that's also trending in the papers. We have the finder saying non-performing MMDCEs will be sacked, Nanado. And there's another story here which says, I will revisit the referendum to pave the way for election of MMDCEs, page 16. So the president has pledged to revisit the referendum. He was speaking at the opening of a 3-day orientation for confirmed MMDCEs. And it says, should a consensus be attained for the repeal of Article 55.3, an agreement reached for political parties to participate and sponsor candidates for election, the MMDCEs, the matter would be brought back to the front burner of public discourse for the necessary action to be taken. Lots of fine words from the president. Let me come to you, Bernard. How will the election of MMDCEs affect a person like you who is an agribusiness person, a farmer, an entrepreneur? How would that affect you?
You know, Kafu, I've been an assemblyman before.
Yes.
I've been a presiding member before, so I understand the local government concept. Let me be very honest with you. I totally don't support the idea that Article 240 of this constitution, when you are appointing MDC, they should be confirmed by two-thirds majority. The whole controversy stems from that particular constitutional provision. It is simply because why must MPs be elected by simple majority? And why must we say that in confirming MDC should be by two-thirds majority? So
MPs have been elected on simple just majority. 3 votes.
Yes,
I know one MP was called MP3.
Yes,
because he won by just 3 votes.
And they go to parliament to serve a whole constituency. So why can't MMDCs who are going to serve in the same capacity be confirmed by simple majority? And I'm telling you today, most of the controversy is because people know and think that to be able to get two-thirds majority, you must climb a mountain before you can get that. If we make it a simple majority, the controversy will die down. Now let me come to the election of MMDCs. Having been an assemblyman and a presiding member before, I do think that it's going to make it too openly partisan. And
if we should elect it?
Yes. And on the criteria you want to use. For example, if you say that, oh, let's take Sunyani West, Sunyani East, Jama North, Doma South, Doma West, even without making it too partisan, some MMDC are finding a way to cut off some assembly members. If you go to some assemblies, there's a demarcation. You can see that this MCE is for these assembly members. and some assembly members are cut off from developmental projects. This is the reality, and I'm speaking as a former presiding member.
How are they cut off?
You know, the assembly runs on 2 key committees. You have the Execo and Publication and Complaint Committee.
What is an Execo?
The Execo is the executive committee chaired by the MCE. And that is the final decision maker before it goes to the General Assembly. So they have the subcommittee system. Subcommittee meet to take a decision. Then they pass it on to the executive committee called the Execo, chaired by the MCE. Then you have the Public Relations and Complaint Committee chaired by the presiding member. In most instances, that committee is not too biting because it doesn't have financial capacity. But the Execo, because it's chaired by the MCE, is financially resourced. Now, if you get an MPP MCE straitjacket, what it means is that he is a member of the General Assembly of the municipality or the district. He chairs the Execo. The Execo is like the cabinet. The Execo is akin to cabinet of the country. And that is where critical decisions are made. Now, when Execo makes decision, then it's passed on to the General Assembly for final voting and consideration. I can tell you, about 99% of all decisions from Execo get approved because it's coming from the MCE. Now, you get an MCE who is NDC MCE. He takes critical decisions not to benefit the municipality, but to favor his party. And that is where the bone of contention is. So, the way we are going, in my candid view, we should allow the status quo to remain. Because in the assembly consultant, you need neutral people to contest. You can live in a locality, there could be a neutral person. He's neither MPP nor NDC. The people love him. If you make it too partisan, such people will be cut off. If you go to Sunyani West, where I was an assemblyman, others were called independent assembly members.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. Because they were not tuned to, they were not tied to either MPP or NDC. And those people are they are meticulous, they are diligent, and their opinions matter in any way you discuss.
So you think the 2/3 majority
should be scrapped
and
made a simple majority.
And it should not be, it should be partisan?
No,
it shouldn't be partisan.
No, it should not be partisan. Okay. For me, in my view, per my experience, if you make it too partisan, some people will be cut off from the system. Because if you have an assembly of, let's say, and you see we have the government appointee system too, and I also want to recommend that government must scrap off the government appointee. And the reason is simple. Let us take AMA. AMA has about, let's say, 63 assembly members. Let's say government appointees are around 21. Are you telling me that the 42 elected members, you cannot find a lawyer, engineer, a banker in there? They are there. But it is because we have made it too political. That is whereby the politics are not showing up. Because you get to assembly, and even the committee chairs are pro-MPP.
So with your suggestion, would the president be able to sack a non-performing MMDC as he says he will do?
You see, these are political talks. Look, there's something called paying losing bonus. And I will explain it to you. If you sack a non-performing MMDC, he has amassed wealth. And that is what they do. You appoint a new MC, he goes behind and pay money to assembly to vote against your new candidate.
How do you amass wealth as an MC?
Look, if you go to the assembly, they award contract. They award contract. And they sit on the wealth. And the assembly has several funds. You have the urban fund, DDF, IGF, and a host of other funds.
But if they are awarding contracts, well, how are they dipping their hands into the contracts?
Look, if you look at the Auditor General report, go in there and see the kind of financial investment at the assembly level, over billions of Ghana cedis, and nothing happens to them. You know, if you take financial investment in Ghana, about 40% come from the assembly. What happens to it? So for me, it is not about firing people. It's about ensuring that the system works. Scrap off 2/3 majority. Let it be by simple majority. Take off government appointees. What is the business over there? Are we telling ourselves today that the Parliament of Ghana, you have to appoint people there before they can complement those who are elected? Hell no. Ghana is changing. In those 1980s, we brought the decentralization policy. At that time, people were not interested in local governance. But today, go to KMA, AMA, Takrady, Cape Coast, and the highly educated people are there. Why must you say that you are appointing 30% to go and do what? Their business only is to ship up for government business. And I'm telling you, if you are taking any policy project for voting at the assembly level, all the government appointee vote in one line. They don't vote on their conscience.
So radical suggestions from Bernard. Mr. Frimpong, what do you think about this MMDCE situation? The president says he's going to pave the way for
picking
election.
the pieces from where.
Yes, pick up the pieces. Pick them, please.
You see, I believe that the president, before becoming the president, campaigned per a certain manifesto. And those to help him to govern the country are the ministers, and then at the local level, the MMDCs. So I think that for this man who would face the country after 4 years, you know, whether they will vote for him again or not, should not be impeded in any manner as to the people who will help him to do his work in order to satisfy the manifesto based on which the people voted for him.
So you think he should pick the people?
I believe that there must be no impediment whatsoever. If the president thinks that Mr. A is the one who should be the DCE, nobody should go and vote whether by a simple majority or 2/3 majority.
So you are for appointment straight?
Straight appointment. But there again, that is because of what is happening. I will say that I'm for the appointments. But within me, I believe that MMDCs must be elected. They must be elected. Why must they be elected? You know, what is on the mind of the people when they are voting for even assembly members? You will see that they live in the same district with them or the same areas with them, and they know those who are MPP, NDC, CPP, PNC, whatever. So even before they get there, they have already gotten the party colors. And so I believe that they should be politically elected, and that is what would help to make subsequent elections easier in the country.
So if they're going to be politically elected, then what, the president will put forward his candidate and other people will put forward their candidates?
Everybody, the parties, not the president.
The parties.
Parties will put, and then independent ones will go there. So the moment you are elected,
simple majority?
It can be simple majority, I don't have a problem. The moment you are elected, and then you govern it and you do very well, that will decide whether in the next election in your district or constituency, your government must be retained in power. Sorry, your party must be retained in power or booted out.
So with your suggestion, it could be possible that you would have an MMDCE who is a CPP person in charge of a particular area, although the executive in terms of the country is from a different party.
So the wisdom behind this is that CPP may not have a single MP sitting in parliament, but at the lower level, they will prove that when you eventually vote for us, this is what we can do for you. And that is one of the reasons why I think they must be politically elected. Then above that, you will see that in practice, and from what this practical man is saying, the MDCE or DCE is the father of the party in that district or constituency, because the MP may be MPP or NDC man, but this one has been appointed by the president.
Exactly.
And so therefore, when you go to his house, it be his official residence. It is the unofficial district headquarters of the party. Indeed. In practice, that is what happens. Okay. And this man ensures that those who get contracts belong to those who are favored by the party and the government in power and the president. And when it happens, it is corruption galore.
Which we do not want, because we need the funds to fix our roads.
That is why we are not growing. Because we are always learning. Look at the wisdom from my younger brother. Indeed. But when we learn, we do not practicalize it in any manner. We do not.
Why is that so? I want to know from you. 05556 1034. I will read your comments that are coming in a flood after we've kept an eye on issues happening in the capital. Valerie is ready, nodding her head like a very wise lizard with a beautiful smile. Take it away, Valerie.
Sure. We're going to be looking at, we're keeping an eye at an area in Okwegono where we have reports that there are very, very bad roads and drains. Our guy Jay is on the beat on that one. And well, Alan is on the beat, I beg your pardon, and Alan is on our screens. And so, Alan, where are you coming to us from and what's happening there?
Hi, good morning, Valerie, and welcome once again to the Odo call. You can immediately see a taxi driver trying to heckle me. This is because of the situation or the issue we're here to keep an eye on. We're keeping an eye on a road network. In the last few months, I have reported on swimming pools in the middle of highways I have reported on ponds sitting in the middle of highways. And today I'm bringing you yet another pond on a service road on the Odoko-Kaneshie Highway. This is just right towards the Kaneshie-Odoko Highway, the Odoko intersection. Indeed, you don't have to be a road engineer to say this road is bad. And you do not have to own a vehicle in order to confirm the effect of this nature of road on your vehicle. PRT Alolo buses would avoid this particular stretch of road for everything, because indeed it's supposed to be a service lane for trotros, but it is nothing to write home about. If this is supposed to be a road, then I can imagine what a swimming pool in the backyards of my village would look like. A lot of the drivers or commuters who apply this stretch of road easily get angry when they get here. And you can see that not too long ago how a taxi driver tried to cut through my reporting just so that he could speak to me. I will do my best to see if any of them at this point would want to speak to us. And let's find out how long they've been plying this road and the state of deterioration and how long it has been in this state. If any of them is willing, I will try and grab that interview with them. It is, in fact, you can see on their faces how angry they are when they're driving on this stretch of road. You'll ask yourself, what is happening to Ghana and what is happening to certain sloganeering about year of roads and fixing roads? Indeed, if that is what is happening, then this is in the heart of Accra, and this is also a road that needs fixing. Indeed, at this point, many of them are just simply waving off the opportunity to speak. I must also bring to your attention the fact that this is only on the right side. If you're headed from Odoko to Kaneshie, it's the right service lane. But if the eye in the sky will flip across or pan over to the other side, which is the, okay, a driver has opted to speak to us. Good morning, boss. Me pacho abom to say.
Yes, I do.
Me pacho enfie say na why adwuma okwan we so.
Oh, me first 10 years.
Na me pacho ekwan we enra ni na ya na ye say.
There be a long time.
Yes, say be enfie say ni.
Oh, me the many bua me first by 5 years.
Be 5 years ni na anya bia wate hu bibi ana say assembly when someone to anamon bia omo pese omo sie sisa akwan ma mo.
Nti ho hwe na me ba sesi akura na me kan wo hwe mpanimfo omo gina traffic mu we yachi. Gigi tikta twa tikta amuntu me mfele man ha he. Wo famu na wo wazo su tumi bu na wa kapan so. Ye hu de omo ya man.
Mr. Wadaroma, aban me ati say it is the year of roads. Enti edan ni ade srede abetu to aban ni mu no pay say kwan yi say wanye bi akra o mehwe no meye mamo.
De beto aban ni say omo ayen because ye ble ama wo ko ba kwa awezo sutubu wo ko boka bebre nti wo be ye adwuma wo de skani na abasin akototo yan nti aban mmomode no omo ayen ye ble
me da se pa say oni ye din komo. Val, just before I wrap up, Val, let me also mention that it's not only the nature of the road that is an issue, but there's also a health and safety issue on this stretch of road. On the pedestrian walk, there is a massive open drain. There is a massive open drain sitting right in the middle of the pedestrian walk, and it has become a presented opportunity for people to dump refuse, and because refuse is piled up in it, it has become another trap, and this is very deadly. This is very deadly. Number one, it blocks the water from flowing freely, and it overflows onto the road because it is choked with rubbish. Indeed, if something is done immediately about this, we can be expectant that the next rainfall will not be an overflow onto the road, but at least it will be free to go. this needs desilting. It's a danger to children who cross the road from here too. It poses a huge danger to children who crosses the road from here too. This has been Keep an Eye coming to you from the Odoko station and its environs. This is coming to you on #GTV Breakfast. Val, back to you.
Thank you, Alan. I don't know how Alan can report all these things and then still keep a smile on his face, Charlie. What we saw there was a big pond in the middle of the road, and then we could actually see that there were loads of other small ponds ahead as well. Kafa and his guest are discussing what's trending on the headlines, and so I'm going to hand over to him, and his guest will probably shed more light on how our roads can be fixed. Kafa.
The reason he smiles is because he's just like you. He's a professional, so you do the work with a smile. Yeah, and then go and vent elsewhere. Gentlemen, we were just talking about MMDCEs, local assemblies, municipal assemblies, and how we get the leadership of those places into position. But we don't just vote them, we vote them so that they can get their work done.
Right.
Nobody's expecting the president to come and fix this road. This should be the job of somebody on the ground in the district or the municipality. Is it not?
Right, it is.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, Kafu, you know, anytime I see some of these things, I feel so worried, because when I was a presiding member, these were the things as a PM. You are the chairman of the Public Relations and Complaint Committee of the municipality. So complaints of this nature, they don't go to the DCE first. According to this particular constitution and the Local Government Acts and the Model Standing Order for regulating the local concept, it must first be tabled to your assembly member. Assembly member takes it to the presiding member, it convenes a meeting, then the deliberation goes on. Now, however, anytime you want to exert a position of the right thing to be done in Ghana, you are then problematic. And that is the difficulty in this country. When I was a PM, these things are very common in Sunyani. I mean, it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Anywhere you go, you find it. But try to ensure that the right thing is done. The political system will fight you. And I had a lot of challenge, because contracts are awarded to people, payment is advanced, they don't do the job, and you have the power to subpoena them to the General Assembly of your area. And some government actors will stop you. They will tell you, don't do it. And I'm speaking from experience, because as a PM, you have the right and the capacity, you are clothed the legal capacity to invite anybody whom, so to speak, you think is underperforming. So let's take this road, for example. All you know, this contract could be awarded to somebody for the desilting. And the desilting is a whole contract value chain on its own, whereby the urban roads, highway award to people. Now, in most of these contract awards, it must pass through the local assembly, so that you sit in Accra, let's say urban road department, you awarded a certain contract to somebody. After awarding the contract, even in the tender committee, the presiding member should be a member of that committee at the urban road level. So when the contract is awarded, then he will keep an eye on it. But urban roads, highway, wherever, sit down, awarded a certain contract to somebody affiliated to a certain political party. The person, payment is made to that person. He takes off all the money. Outright payment is made to the person. The job is not get done. You are the PM for the locality. You want to make sure the right thing, then you face a lot of challenge. Go down and you see that this road you see there and this refuse, etc., the certain contract has been awarded to somebody. Payment has been made. Job is not done. But all you know, the person is a financier of a political party.
Solution, Mr. Frimpong.
Well, the solution lies in the fact that GBC is bringing all these things to light. Because when you walk down the street, the ordinary man has a lot of grievances, but I can assure you he doesn't have the right vocabulary to ventilate them. Bringing this to the public view, one is implicitly reporting them to the president, and then making the MPs to sit up, assemblymen and women to sit up, and then contractors also to sit up. That is the beginning of the solution.
Indeed. And we are part of the solution by reading your comments also on the issues that have been discussed so far. These days, the police have been very busy and the justice system seems to be heating up quite seriously. It's not in the papers today, but yesterday, this lady who was taken to court for a fake kidnapping was given 6 years. She's been jailed for 6 years. She tried to fake her kidnapping, wanted her stepfather to part with 5,000 cedis as ransom money. The whole thing went belly up. She confessed that it was a joke, and the judicial system did not take it as a joke, and they jailed her 6 years. Some people are saying that the system is too harsh. Your comments briefly on that.
If we see Napoleon Bonaparte said you must execute orders with common sense. So when you are giving orders to shoot people as a military officer or as a business person, in executing that orders must be guided by common sense approach. Look, what the lady did is unconscionable, it's unthinkable. And I think that to deter people from future similar attitude, the punishment ought to be very harsher. Because you see, iron only sharpening iron. And when, evildoers begin to see that their deeds is going to be met with a harsher punishment, it deters them from venturing into that kind of business. It's a business venture on its own. Because if you look at the court trial process, there was an ulterior motive other than what we were made to believe. So for me, I want to commend that particular trial judge. He's done a good job. And for me, people must begin to respect some orderliness in the system. And what the lady did, nobody ever should try and start making free this, free that. These are the things that engender people to embark on these missions. When the law begins to work, people complain. And I want to commend the IGP of the country, Mr. Dampare. I have gotten the time to travel to over 32 countries in the world. And what he is trying to do now in Ghana, he's placing policing at a certain pedestal. I don't want to compare him to any former IGP in the country. What I know is Dampare. And if the political system will allow him to work in the next 4 to 5 years, I would even want to recommend that the next government to come, beneath NPP and NDC, should retain him. If we do that, he will ensure sanity in the system.
Is it possible that if the NDC
they should
power,
we also advocate. It is not about the NDC should or NPP should not. It is about people talking. Look at the way the man is working. And I'm sure one day he might even, if even the president of the country go against the law, he will even arrest the president.
It can get to that level, eh?
Yes.
Mr. Frimpong, briefly as we wrap up.
Yeah, with reference to the woman's case,
yes,
I believe it is very excessive. The punishment of 6 years is excessive, in that if you had given her even 2-3 months sentence, it would have served the same purpose of telling the public that, hey, next time if anybody does this, then this is what will happen to you. And then also, we all know that the public has already exhibited its anger against her. I mean, naming and shaming, we have already done that. So I would encourage her to appeal because it's excessive. You also learn that if the woman had pleaded guilty and had caused the setting up of a full trial, that could have taken the state about 1 year to complete. The woman didn't do that.
So she saved the state resources.
So with resources, and because she pleaded guilty on time, and then above that, it was her first brush with the law, first-time offender.
So if you were her lawyer, you would advise her that she appeals?
She would have to appeal. And when she appeals, you will sit here and you tell me that it will reduce because the sentence is just too excessive.
Mr. Yao Anoche Frimpong is a lawyer and historian, and Mr. Bernard Odro Tichi is regional coordinator for the Commonwealth Alliance of Young Entrepreneurs. Gentlemen, your comments, your contributions have been very well worth our time. Thank you so much. I just want to read something that just came in 5 minutes ago on the police, Ghana Police's Twitter handle. So this is titled 29 in court for assaulting police officers and seizing a riot control weapon at Luhuo, near Segi Adam. The Tema Regional Police Command has arraigned 29 suspects before the Tema Circuit Court A on, this was on Monday, for assaulting 2 police officers and seizing a riot control weapon and a box of ammunition at Luhuo, a community near Segi Adam. And then you have a list of all the suspects. A police report indicates that on the 21st October, 3 police officers were attending to a distress call at Electrochem Ghana Limited at Luhuo when they came under attack from some members of the community who blocked the road leading to the company. So there's a lot of information there on the police's Twitter handle. Go check it out. They are working, they're communicating, they're telling us what's going on. And what's going on are your messages. I want to read them for you right now. Good morning. You're saying this is part of you guys are these ponds are not one district, one factory, please, or forget it. Don't go into this. This is the type of panel that we need to be hearing from. Unlike politicians who try to defend their parties, these gentlemen really talk about reality. And I wish GTV continues like this. Kudos to your panel this morning, Martin Ajamli from Kumasi. Kudos to both of you. You did a great job. Thank you so much.
Too.
And thank you too. Thank you. And so that's our headlines for today. You can follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We have interesting, intriguing communications and conversations coming up in a short while. What do we have for you? There's something on the Minerals Commission, a launch of the 5-year Power to Youth program, and we'll be looking at unearthing talent. There's a gentleman whose name has G-O-D in it. Hey, no be small. And he's in the entertainment section with Valerie. You stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. A lot coming up with Thelma taking photos in the background. You'll see the evidence on Instagram in about 3 or 4 hours in her bright red. My name is Kafui. I love red too, but today I'm wearing pink for breast cancer awareness. You stay with us. Have a pink day and don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast.
From 1921 to 2021.
Thanks for staying on. And we are having our regular Wednesday morning time with the Minerals Commission in this session, and I'll be introducing my guest pretty shortly. Remember that this show is brought to you in partnership with Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shoulder Acrylic Paint, and Adunko Next Level Energy Drink. We are partnered by Lufat to bring you the health check segment of the table, and Lufat is the anti-malarial suspension for kids and anti-malarial tablets for adults for confirmed cases of malaria. Later on, Eltel Tigo will partner the Yellow Couch to bring you the lifestyle segment, and this outfit is made possible by KTO Eleganza. You can find KTO Eleganza on Instagram. They are located in Osu, specifically the Charles Street. So look for Charles Street on Google Maps and then it will take you straight there. Ask for Katie and she'll hook you up with such lovely outfits. They also do African print outfits as well. So the home of trendy, new, vibrant, exciting dresses, KTO Eleganza. Look for her on Instagram. Last week we talked about the rationale and the importance behind the online application of the MCAS system, which is the Mining Cadastral Administrative System being introduced by the Minerals Commission. Today we are going to continue that discussion on digitization and the online process, and my guest is going to give us further clarification on the importance of the online platform and also the implementation process. So he was here last week, he's here again today. The head of Mineral Titles Department of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Hassan Al-Hassan. Mr. Hassan, welcome once again.
Thank you, Pema.
So as we recap, tell us again, for those who may have missed the conversation last week, and let's quickly add that today you will have the opportunity to call into the program and ask questions of Mr. Hassan in your bid to further broaden your knowledge on the MCAS system being implemented by the Minerals Commission. Last week we learned that everything is now gone digital, and so there is a migration going on. So if you have any questions on the MCAS system, you'll have the opportunity to call into the program. The WhatsApp line is still active, is 055-5561-034. So you can send your messages to us as well, interact with us on our social media handles, and let's get interactive. Mr. Hassan, last week we talked about the general system and how it's meant to help customers. Recap for us again the benefits for customers with this in the introduction of this MCAS system.
Thank you, Thelma. Once again, we come face to face with our clients and the general public for our education into how to acquire mineral rights in Ghana. Like you said, Minerals Commission is in the next coming week going online fully, and we're not going to accept anything manually in the office. But much as we're going online, it's not going to be easy in the first 3 months, so there should be some degree of human interface, which we want this system to reduce as much as possible, human interface, and to shorten the turnaround time for mineral rights applications, and to ensure efficiency, transparency in the system of our mineral rights administration in the country. So basically, our going online is to ensure that every client or customer of the Minerals Commission sits in the comfort of his home or office to put in his application, renewal, or any other thing, interaction that he has with the Minerals Commission, wherever he is. We've made it easy, and I think we've already given the online repository, link, which is the https://sso.revenuedev.org. When you log in there, it takes you to the Ghana Mining Repository, where as a user you can actually register. The registration is so simple and the system is so interactive. So you need just your name and your a password to do the registration. When you go there, the system, I think it will be rolling on the screens for us to see. It gives you the opportunity to put your name and create your own password. Then when you do that, you'll get an email from us telling you to activate.
So you activate in your email, which tells you that your name has been actually registered with us. Then you can go back into the system and create a user profile for yourself. The user profile too is easy to create. When you go into the system, there is a drop-down unit on the far right corner where it shows user. Then the user will help you do your own user profile, put in your details, your name, your email address again, your phone number to register you as a user. But that makes you as a regular user. But then for you to be a representative of a company that has a mineral right or has any license with us, then there is something we call the owner approval that has to be done. You have to recognize the company that you actually represent and start the process with them. When you start the process online, then the whole thing comes back to us for us to give you the approval for you to get access to all the information about your license that is with us. So it's gradual. You need to register. After register, you need to create your own user profile on the system. When you create a user profile on the system, then now you come for owner approval from us, because people can register, but they are not representative of any company. That one is to give them access to our database to look for whichever information that they want. But a person that is a representative of a company has to get the owner approval before he gets access to do any business with us online.
What's the process for getting owner approval? Because you said they need to get in contact with you.
Yes.
Do they come to the office, or is that also on the MCAS system?
No, with the new applications, that one, after you do all this, you get an automatic mail from us that it has been approved. But for those who have been registered or putting in the application in the past are now going to register, those are the ones that are supposed to come to our office with, because you can be a user, we don't know whether you've been given that authority by a company to be their representative. So we may need some degree of letter of introduction from the company to allow us to approve you in the system. That's for all those who already we have their information in the system, not new applicants. Okay. But for new applicants, now you can do it on the system straight. It will come to us and we will give you the approval for you to start. So the system, like we said, is so interactive. We have our correspondence email for mineral title holders. It comes as mineraltitles@mincom.gov.gh. But for any other correspondences too, there is another link, which is the info@mincom.gov.gh. So you should know the difference. For those relating to mineral right licenses, that one is at mineral titles at mincom.gov.gh.
Go over that again, just so we don't mix it up.
For those having mineral right, like holders of prospecting, mining leases, and restricted mining leases and the likes, they correspond to the mineral titles at mincom.gov.gh. That's where the correspondence come from. But for any other licenses, like the support service, that one, it comes from a link, which is the info@mincom.gov.gh.
Okay.
So actually there is a differentiation between the main rights for holders of minerals and those who are doing kind of services or rendering services to these mineral rights holders.
Okay.
There are two different links that we get to correspond to.
Right. Mr. Hassan, so walk us through the process again of what the registration would entail and what documents or papers a person needs to submit in order to get to put in the system to get the licensing or to apply for whichever service they are asking for.
Sorry. Let's say if you are a new registrant that is going to register, you, the person, has to go into the system. You need just your email and a password to get yourself registered. You get a confirmation from us. You do the activation and come back to the mining repository where you create your user profile. And if you are a representative or you are applying for a company, there is a place there that you have to press on. We call the owner representative.
that gives you the opportunity to upload all the information concerning the company that is applying for the mineral right. So the company registration papers, the TIN number for the company, all the other things that you need to, I mean, that represent the company has to be uploaded there. Sometimes maybe your VAT certificate, your GRA clearance certificate, all those things have to be uploaded on there. So after uploading all this information, it comes to us. We do the vetting after looking through and everything goes perfect. Then we give you the approval. The approval comes through the link that said the mineral titles at mincom.gh. That's where you're going to get your reply from that your license has been approved. Then you can also go on through the normal registration. You have your email, you have your password, you go, it will send you back to the repository and you'll see the stage at which your license has gotten to. Because the license starts with registration, validation, up to the approval level.
And are the timelines still the same? I remember we had a conversation about how many days it would take to get any kind of license, and each one had a different timeline. With the online, is that going to be the same, or is it going to be a faster?
Yes, it's the same. Like now I have registered. In the next 5 days, the Minerals Commission has to vet and approve. So the 5 days is covered. Unless maybe there are hitches that he has to correct. And we have 10 days for him to do the correction before the proper validation starts. Proper validation takes about 15 days to do. So it's the same process. So in whichever stage that your license gets to, if it's the registration and you go in there, you'll see that your license are registration stage. It will be highlighted there for you. If it's at validation, you'll see that your license is at validation. So at whichever stage that your license is, you're able to see it online if you go checking, because you already have an access. You know how to get into the Ghana mining repository, and because you have your user profile to there, and you have the owner approval, you can be following at which stage your license has gotten to at every point in time. So the system, like you say, is so interactive. It's just a matter of time for people to understand and get conversant with.
Okay, so we are asking you to get interactive with us. Our WhatsApp number is active 055-556134. We are also opening the phone lines now, so you can call in and ask your questions of Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan Al-Hassan is the head Mineral Titles Department of the Minerals Commission, and he's providing us with clarifications on the online system that they're opening up, the Mineral Mining Cadastral Administrative System, MCAS, which is the place where you go to apply for licenses and other services from the Minerals Commission, and they want to go digital, so the online platform is going live. And the number to call is 054-366-4264, 054-366-4264. You can call in and ask your questions. Please remember to turn down the volume on your TV set and keep your questions straight and to the point. Thank you so much. 054-366-4264 is the number to call. Mr. Hassan.
To add to what I've just said, with the payment model for this, for now, all the other licenses, the large-scale licenses and the support service, they are supposed to go by the normal one, the routine one we already know. It's only the small scale that we've activated the online payment services. The small scale had to go to ghana.gov to also register there with their phone numbers and create a password for themselves to be getting access, because Ghana Minerals Commission is already on the Ghana.gov, so you can locate Minerals Commission from the Ghana.gov, and from there, when you locate us, there's a link from the Ghana.gov that sends you straight into the Ghana Mining Repository where you can start your activities. So it's only the small scale mining licenses that we've actually activated the online payment.
Okay, but for the other types of licenses,
they have to continue with the previous way of doing things until we communicate something else to them.
Okay, so the previous way of doing things would be to get in touch with the Minerals Commission offices and be given, I presume, a bank account number to pay the monies into.
Yeah, normally they know how to go about it, all those registered.
Okay.
Nothing has changed, so it's just
so
the way they used to do it.
I remember we started talking about this last week, and we were talking about how to handle those who are already whose papers are already with you going through the process, and how those applications are going to be handled going forward. Are you going to input the details into the system yourselves, or are you going to continue handling them as manual applications and then invite newer applications or more recent current applications to use the online platform?
Like I keep saying, the Minerals Commission is gone online, so now is the age of digitalization. We are actually transforming our data from the physical sense into the digital sense. So those already having their information with us that are not already digitalized, we're going to do the digitization of all this information into the system. And if in case you already have your information with us and you go online, you don't say it means something, we've not actually done the digitalization for your information. You can contact us and alert us so that we do it fast for you. But it's ongoing process, though it's not easy. We have a backlog of information to digitalize, and you can imagine the number of licenses that are, and we had to sit on our oars to make sure we push these things to make sure all this information are digitalized and pushed in the, how do you call it, digital spiritual realms, to make it easier for our correspondences with our clients. Spiritual, not as in spiritual. This is digitalization spiritual.
They just took me back a second there, because I'm thinking we are talking about mining, then spiritual. Whoa, where is the spirit?
I'm talking about digitalization. You know, digital information is something hanging in the sky somewhere. Though you can see it on the, how do you call it, computer portals, but when you store them, stored somewhere in the sky.
So MCAS is active now?
Yes, it's active now.
Have you received any applications through there yet since?
Yeah, we keep receiving applications. Even as yesterday, I was communicating with my officers who are actually the front users. They were telling me the numbers that have been coming in. People have been calling in to ask for directions. So what we've been showing on the screen is the step-by-step process we've sent to most of these who are these clients who have not actually registered. And it's so simple. When you get it and you go, you follow it through and through, you realize that it's the simplest interactive system you can ever get in
how many applications would you say you've received, if you had to estimate? Because it's a computer, so I'm sure the counting will be very quick.
Like I said, I have front users.
Okay.
Yeah, so as of yesterday, they were telling me a number of lines were coming in and they were sending the step-by-step to them. For now, the new ones are not coming like the already existing ones
who want to migrate.
Register. Yes.
Okay, they want to go digital.
Yeah, they already are in the system, but they are not registered. And we've asked them to register before the 1st of November, because from then we don't accept anything manual. So
1st of November. Which is Monday.
Yes, we're going to inaugurate the whole thing, and from there we're not going to accept anything manual. Everything has to come.
And that's why you're doing this. That's why we're opening the phone lines, to make sure that you get all your questions answered. 0543664264, so you can ask your questions, because 1st November you're going fully digital and you will not accept any more manual applications.
That should be the case, but that notwithstanding, there will certainly be some glitches that we need to address. So there would be some overlap of accepting from those who are having the difficulty of uploading some of these informations. They may seek help from us in the head office to help them, or from our district and regional offices.
So are you going to have an official, like a formal program where you are going to go fully digital on the 1st of November, and what should that program look like?
Yes, we're going to have a program to tell the whole world that now the commission is gone online for each and everyone to see. That's how I started with this education and sensitization program to let people understand that yes, we've come a long way, and on the 1st we're going fully online, and from 1st everybody should know that nothing paper is supposed to come to us unless it's a specialized problem that has to be attended by us.
And you were talking about how you are opening regional centers where people who live in communities where their access to internet is limited could go to get help to register, to register and to also apply.
Yes, all our district offices are now hooked up to the central, the head office. So if in case, like the small scale miners, if you're having any problem, you can consult our district offices who are going to help you with the online registration and everything.
Okay, final words before we wrap today's conversation.
Like I said, Minerals Commission is going online. We are in the age of digitalization, and we have to also be part of the new age of digitalization. So we live in no stone unturned, and we need the help of our clients and the general public to succeed. We may have difficulties in the initial times, but I believe that's the way to go. We need everyone to come on board to help us succeed. Thank you.
And you're ready for the challenge?
We are ready for the challenge.
Great. Mr. Hassan Al-Hassan, thank you so much for spending another Wednesday morning with us.
I didn't tell you I was allergic to.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Next time you are going to Mecca, just stick along.
Thank you.
I'll be your handbag.
Handbag? As
Yes.
in handbag?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a handbag as in, I don't know what even as in handbag, but I'll be in the suitcase so that we all go together. Mr. Hassan, thank you so much for sharing a part of your morning with us. The head of Mineral Titles Department of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Hassan Al-Hassan, has been with us again explaining the online application processes, and he's been talking to us about the digitalization agenda of the minerals application. Payments have been activated on the online portal, and all the other licenses would have to go through the old system of payment, but for now it's the small scale mining that's out there. If you need further information, go on to the Minerals Commission website and they will help you. And if you're in the regions and you do not have access to internet, or you're having challenges applying on your own, you can go to their district offices and get the help that you require. We'll be joining Valerie very soon. She's going to go out to our guys on the field to tell us what other issue they are keeping an eye on. You're still watching GTV Breakfast. We are grateful to our sponsors, Awake, Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, Donko Next Level Energy Drink, Lufat, Anti-Malarial Suspension and Tablet, Etel Tigo for the lifestyle segment, and KTO Eleganza for my lovely outfit. Find them on Instagram. The shop is located at Usu. Valerie, what's the team saying from on the field?
Righty, thank you. We'll be connecting shortly with our guy Jay. Jay is at Okwegono, and he's saying that they've seen a couple of bad roads, and we're going to be talking to him pretty shortly. So Jay, what can you report? What's happening behind you? Looks bare. Sound.
In the Okwegono, and this is where we will be reporting from. So what's happening is people in this area, not only are the roads in a deplorable state, there's also something much worse. But I'll get to that in a minute. At the moment, I'd like to invite the Assemblywoman for Tishnungwa North, Linda Bango, to give us a brief. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, cherished viewers.
Thank you so much. So can you tell us how important this road is? Where does it lead to?
This road is very important, in as much as people coming all the way from Tema, from Mashama, this is where they normally pass. It's a link road. When people want to dodge traffic on the Nungwa-Teshi road, this is where they normally pass to Lekma, this the Manette. Okay. It's a very link road.
So how long has the road network been like this? Because I can see that because of the rainfall just yesterday, this is what's happening with the road. How long has it been like this?
For more than years. For years, yes, more than 25 years.
How long have you been appealing to perhaps your MC, the roads ministry, to come and fix the roads for you?
I've been in the assembly for 2 years now, and we've been appealing to them for the past 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the cameraman is showing us the state of a road right now. I can tell maybe the drains have not been fixed. What exactly are we looking at? Can you tell us?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, before the election, the contractor started working from coastal up to the far end where the bridge is. Okay. That's where they stopped. But two months ago, they started from the bridge to this side. Okay. And for now, they have left the place. They are not working on it. And it's a problem to us.
Did they say why?
They said this place, they are facing problems. They are having difficulties here. The place is muddy. So they had to leave this place to go to the other end. Okay. And that is what we don't understand.
So at this point, I'd like to invite the assembly member over here to come and give us a statement. Good morning, sir. Thank you. Please, your name and your constituency.
Yeah, please. My name is Honorable Jonathan Anyetesowa, the assemblyman for Chibro North Electoral area, okay. Which comprising Opegono through Malik, through to Manet Police Station, and then motorway.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much. So how
boundary with Honorable Linda, where we are now. Okay. Honorable Linda, that.
Thank you so much. So I understand because of what we just witnessed, the drain situation and all that, some residents here don't have water at all for some time now. And also the road users suffer a lot. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, we are very grateful for you to come in here to come and interview us today, because we were expecting something like that for a while. This is a community that it's a very big community that
And that was Michael J, who was speaking to some residents in Okwegono about the bad road network in that part of Accra. And so we are asking the authorities that and the residents are appealing. They say they are looking forward to someone who will listen to them. And so we know that this channel is listened to, this program is watched by the authorities that and so if you are listening, that's over to you. The show is made possible by Awake Purified Water. Whenever you buy a bottle of Awake Purified Water, a fraction of the money goes to the Cardiothoracic Center, where the proceeds are used to pay for the bills of people who cannot afford medical care. So make sure that when you step out today, you buy a bottle of Awake Purified Water. Also, our Next Level Energy Drink is responsible for our peckiness this morning. Shield acrylic paint. Cheesy Pizza, we've already mentioned the question for the day already, and we announced the winners for yesterday. Also, Airtel Tigo responsible for the Yellow Couch, which is my segment, which is coming on later on. And I'm going to be speaking to a gentleman. He's a hip-hop artist, and he's going to tell us a lot about publishing, which he says a lot of Ghanaian musicians do not know about. And we are taking a quick break. T is getting ready to have a conversation with the youth, and a program that's geared towards the youth. And so the hashtag to follow is still GTV Breakfast, guys. We're taking a quick break.
of November. And now we settle into an issue that touches every heart, the youth. And we're told every day, constantly, that the youth are the future, and there are so many organizations that are bringing programs on stream to help the youth to achieve their dreams. Another one of those groups is here this morning, and it's called Power to Youth Program. They're driving a number of pioneering changes in how adolescent girls and young women are engaged in decision making, such as advocating for their rights, inequality that has negatively impacted young people, young women in particular, and they are focused on all these issues, so focused on adolescents and their rights. So in the studio we have the representatives from the youth groups. From my far left, Amina Balma Ahmed, the National Program Coordinator for Power to Youth Program, and they call it NOSAC. Amina, welcome.
Thank you.
And next to her is Mohammed Al-Hassan Amidu. He is the program lead for Power to Youth Program Songtaba. Mohammed, welcome.
Thank you.
So Amina and Mohammed, the Muslims are having a field day today because Amina is the mother of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. So you and your mother have joined us at the table to talk about the youth. You're both Muslims, yes?
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot, that you go somewhere together and they're like, oh, Amina and Mohammed?
Well, yeah, we do get that a lot, but when we talk about the program, you realize that it's a bit diverse.
Yeah. Okay.
Only that two of us had to represent today.
Good one. So, Power to Youth, and the youth, you spell it with a U, Y-O-U, and the T-H in quote, yes, because you are targeting people personally, aren't you? It's not just the youth.
Yes.
So, is that what makes your organization stand out from other youth programs out there?
Yes, so it's very good that you have actually highlighted that the youth in our program is the diversity here. The Power to Youth program is just giving an individual that power and giving that whole group, the youth, that power. So the Power to Youth program is a multi-country program funded by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, coordinated by a global consortium of 3, AMREF Flying Doctors, Rutgers, and Sonke Gender Justice. In Ghana, this program is coordinated by 4 partners, led by NOSAC in Tamale. Other partners are the Youth Advocates Ghana, SRHR Alliance for Young People, and Songtaba. So what this program will do is to build agency of adolescents, girls, and young women around 3 key issues: harmful practices, sexual and gender-based violence, and unintended pregnancies.
Okay.
So this is just what the Power to Youth program is.
The 3 are fascinating for me already. Harmful practices. Which are your particular targets? Yes. I know that from northern Ghana, perhaps off the top of my head, female genital mutilation may be one of the key issues. Would that be correct?
Yeah, exactly. We are looking at, for the northern sector, when we talk of northern, of eastern savannah regions, issues of child marriage is still pervasive. Okay. We also have a number of the youth coming down south for Kayaye, which we still identify as a harmful issue. SGBV issues such as defilement cases, a number of them also going on in the north. And for us, we also think in the Upper East region, issues of female genital mutilation, we still have this happening in some few communities within the Upper East region. So you will see that the project transcends to Upper East as well because of issues of FGM. Then within the northern and savannah regions, we concentrate more on child marriages, trying to address these issues and issues of unwanted pregnancies. And these are issues that we believe if we are able to address, then it can empower the youth so that they can meaningfully engage and participate in decision making at all levels.
But others have tried to help the cause of all this. In fact, advances have been made, but the problems still persist. Why do you think you are in a position to actually cause change or to create a system where we don't hear these stories anymore?
So earlier I was mentioning that this program is a multi-country program. So the Ghana program is contextualized and it's actually being implemented in 5 regions. The Greater Accra region is a policy influencing area. the northern, northeast, Savannah, and the upper east region are areas where we'll have direct implementation. How is this program different from other programs? This program is based on the principle of southern leadership and meaningful youth participation. So you see us here, youth, driving these changes we want to see in our colleagues, in our fellows who are youth. So everything in this program is driven by youth, led by youth. So we have youth-focused activities that include learning hubs, youth idea pitching. And this program is also seeing this change through 4 pathways. So the first pathway, we have the youth themselves driving this change. We have civil society organizations, we have societal actors, and we have state actors. So this is how we envision this change, and the youth is going to be at the center of this implementation. So probably in other programs, they may not let the youth drive, but for us, we feel that this is you, and in order for you to understand what you want to achieve, you should drive how these changes will come about.
Okay. So does that mean that the 5 regions where this is happening are where you've identified these challenges to exist? So the other 11 regions do not have those problems. Why the focus on the 5 regions when I presume that issues of unwanted teenage pregnancies would be of concern nationwide?
So when we're doing the inception of this whole idea of that program, that's the Power to Youth, we did a lot of DEX reviews, a lot of review of existing literature to find out areas where some of these issues were very pervasive or endemic that needed timely intervention. And we observed that from the multi-cluster indicator surveys, though we have other areas such as the central region and others like Western featuring in terms of rates of teenage pregnancies, but the other issues we're trying to address were issues of inclusion, okay, and in the northern sector. And also in the northern sector, we also observed that child marriages were mostly linked to teenage pregnancies, because most of these marriages were teenage pregnancy induced. The girl gets pregnant and the only thing is to born her to the man, and that also promotes cohabitation. So we thought that there was a need for us for the time being to concentrate in these 5 3 northern regions, including the Upper East region. Upper East came in because we're trying to assess based on literature where the indicators were coming from when it comes to FGM. It wasn't common to the 3 northern regions, but it was common. When I say 3 northern regions, the Northeast, Savannah, and northern region, but FGM issues were still featuring in some communities. So that is how come Upper East. And then also the region has also been noted for most of the cases of child marriages that we have. You see, the idea of this program, you may also want to, you may care to know why we selected some of these regions were that we're also trying as a program, as she said, our approach is to look at how to build the vibrancy of the youth. And for us, comparing these 4 regions and the southern sector, already there's a gap because in terms of inclusion, in terms of participation, in terms of how women and adolescent girls participate in decision making, even at the community and subnational levels, it's very low in these areas as compared even to the southern sector. And so we are using gender transformative approaches in these communities that we want to work in to build kind of model families, so that we use this model family concept, for example, to improve the vibrancy of the youth, and also adolescent girls and young women to have that civic space to engage at the community level, at the family level, so they can also take part in decisions, which for now is not that common in these parts that we are working.
And it brings me nicely to the point I was about to raise. If you would allow me, Amina, to pick your thought on this. Across our cultural settings, children in general, male or female, are not encouraged to take part. Their opinions are not even sought when it comes to decisions that sometimes even concerns themselves. And especially when the child is female, it's even more pronounced. We understand that in some places across the country, especially, maybe you can give us some examples from the areas that you are covering, the regions that you are covering, the girl child is not consulted on matters that concern her at all. So are you afraid that people may see this move as one that is going to make the children, the adolescent girl, more arrogant or more, in Ghana we call something too known. You know, the adult is talking, you're also talking, so you're going to make them some kind of, I'm looking for a word, but I'm not getting it, but you get the point I'm making. Is that a real concern?
So that is a real concern, but it's also good to add that this program is a lobby and advocacy program. You know, we have two kinds of programs. We have service delivery programs, we have lobby and advocacy programs. So what we want to do is to change perceptions around things. And what we didn't mention is that we are identifying key influential people, because for advocacy programs, you need people who will speak, for people to listen. You need people of influence who kind of drive the kind of changes you want to see. So we are kind of identifying key stakeholders in all levels who would understand the program's concepts, understand the kind of change we see. So it's not more like we are coming, adolescent girl, yes, we want you to be meaningfully engaged in decision making, get up and do ABC. We are involving the key stakeholders that we feel that would help in this lobby and advocacy we do. So at the community levels, you see us identifying religious leaders, paramount chiefs, assemblymen. At all levels, we've identified these key stakeholders that we know that if they speak for lobby and advocacy programs, people will listen. Parents are also one. So we begin there, conscientize them on what this change really means, and it's not about being too known, but just being aware of the kind of things that the program wants to do and the kind of change we want to see, and to appreciate more.
How are you going to engage your targets on this? Is it a seminar? Is it what kind of approach are you going to take?
Yeah, when we say meaningful youth participation, we have identified existing networks of these youth groups in the various regions and districts. So we intend working with the youth in their various networks and platforms, and we only would support these platforms to be more vibrant. And that is why we need to even mention that the media will play a very key role, because we think on this program the media is a dual curtain sword, because the media will help to amplify and articulate the voices of the youth. But then we as a program think that most of the youth networks we have identified in the various districts, most of them exist. We only would need to let them appreciate how they can meaningfully participate, because on this program we are not looking at maybe the community level. We are also trying to understand, let the youth understand how they can also participate at the district, the regional. When I say regional, at the that is African regional level, and even at global platforms. So we'll be doing a lot of capacity building for selected members of the youth group, so that they can also translate that in their networks. So we think that to build the vibrancy of the youth, we need to mobilize, we need to build capacities, and then we also need to link them to media, because the media will help to amplify their voices. There are a lot of issues happening in most of the areas, but maybe as he says, societal actors, state actors don't get to hear about these issues. But when we start getting them these civic spaces to amplify their voices, we believe as a program it will help us to be able to achieve the goal, which is ensuring that at the end of the 5 years we actually achieve this meaningful youth participation.
So let's talk about the goal for a minute. In 5 years, you've set yourself a target. What's that target?
For the next 5 years, what we want to see at the end of the day is that adolescents, girls and young women and all youth are meaningfully engaged in decision-making processes across all levels. That's what we want to see at the end of the day. And we recognize that this change will begin in communities, transcending to districts, regional and national level. So we do some specific targeting. So at the end of the 5 years, what we want to see, that adolescent girls and young women are meaningfully engaged in decision-making processes, because if you are making decisions that concern them, they need to be involved. They need to tell you what the reality is on the ground for you to be able to make those decisions.
And do you anticipate any challenges? Because I'm sure that since you've conceptualized this, you've thought of a couple of ways where things could go right and maybe things could go wrong as well. Where do you think you could face the most resistance?
Yeah, you know, the program seeks to work with societal actors, because most of the issues that we have enumerated, those issues that we describe as harmful practices, they normally stem from social norms. And you know, these are norms that people hold dear, and to come and make changes to these norms, you definitely will have some resistance. And so for us, we know, because it has to do with beliefs of people when it comes to child marriages, there are some ethnic groups who, for example, will not want to surrender their position when it comes to those practices. And so we think, as a counter, we seek to be working with progressive leaders, such as some influential chiefs that we are using as champions, who would, for example, articulate some messages using media platforms and at the community to be able to reshape some of these norms. We also feel that the other bigger challenge we may face is for example, from the government sector. For example, we want to find out what will be the level of commitment from the various ministries. For example, on this program, it is key that gender ministry is and the youth and sport, because it falls within when we talk of SDBV issues, when we talk of inclusion, looking at issues of gender transformation, obviously the gender ministry should be concerned. And we want to also, as a challenge, we are envisaging that as in issues of commitment from some of these state actors, and also for the executive to create that youth-friendly governance systems that the youth can always participate, whether at the local level when we are doing our gender budgeting, whatever maybe planning processes. What spaces do we create for the youth, for example, to come and sit in and also articulate some of their concerns? So from the societal actors side, that is the government side, we are looking at commitment, which we envisage would be a key challenge. And at the societal level, where we are looking at social norms, we also envisage that these norms would be, it wouldn't be that easy to just change them overnight. But we have also devised other strategies, which are the approaches we are using on this program to engage with key leaders who are identified as progressive leaders.
Who are some of the personalities involved in this? You've mentioned the number of institutions and support groups who are partnering with you, but who are some of the influencers that you're engaging, that you're bringing on board to help you further this course?
So at this point, it's important to mention that this program just began in July. So as part of our initial processes, we are kind of doing a needs assessment, kind of mapping media houses to kind of target key media hostesses who would use as gender champions to kind of roll out the courses that we want to see. So this is really at the beginning stages, identifying some of these key people. We began with some identifications, but we are also, it's important to mention that we are currently doing some studies, mapping to really make sure that we are really identifying the very important people that we need. And that's why at this point I would like to mention that we are officially launching today in Accra.
Okay.
Why are we launching in Accra when some of us are in Tamale? It's a consortium of 4, 2 are in Tamale, 2 are in Accra. The lead partner, of course, is in Tamale. We could have launched there. But why are we launching in Accra? We have a purpose, because we want all key stakeholders at this level. He was mentioning the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We'll have them at the launch, because we feel that at this key stage it's important to outline that this is the program coming up. This is the kind of commitment we want from them. This is the kind of support we want from them over the next 5 years as a national advocacy agenda for them to see their role in this program. So today we are officially launching at Alisa Hotel at 10 a.m. and we'll be live on our Facebook page, Power to Youth Ghana. So I'm encouraging everyone to join us as we launch our program here. And then you see more of our change agents we envision on the program, at least for now, as we do these mappings and studies. Yeah.
Okay. And Mohammed wanted to add something. I was going to ask, how can people support what you're doing and how can they reach you? But you've mentioned your Facebook. Maybe if there are other handles, share those with us as well. Let's know what we can do to help.
Yeah, I think for
so
now,
we are also on Twitter, Power to Youth Ghana, on Twitter,
handles.
on Facebook. And like I said, we are a consortium of 4. NORSAC is the lead in Tamale. Somtaba is also in Tamale. We have the Ghana SRHR Alliance for Young People in Accra, Youth Advocates Ghana in Sawam. So these are our 4 partners, and you can reach out to us.
So on the issue of support, I think it starts with the media. And as she mentioned, we are currently identifying hostesses who can amplify and also use their spaces to at least amplify this program, so that we are looking at building a kind of vibrant youth in Ghana. if you compare Ghana and other countries, you would see that we still have a lot to do. So for us, we think the media would be a cutting sword on this program to be able to create that civic space for the youth. And for me, I'm very happy this morning, maybe you hosting us and not a male. And so I think already we have made a plus, and you definitely in other platforms use your space to amplify the voice of the youth.
Well, GBC would always use the platforms to amplify the voices of the youth, to amplify the voices of all minorities in the country. And if adolescent girls need a voice, then GBC will be a voice for adolescent girls. Thank you so much for joining us at the table. Amina Balma Ahmed, National Program Coordinator, Power to Youth Program, NOSA. Thank you, Amina. And Mohammed Al-Hassan Amidu, Program Lead, Power to Youth Program, Song Taba. Mohammed, thank you. And they are launching their program at Alisa Hotel at 10 a.m. this morning to give a voice to adolescent girls when it comes to making decisions that concern and affect them. So partner them. They are going through 5 regions of the country with this message, and they want your support to be able to reach the people they need to reach, and for the stakeholders to have the impact that they are seeking to do. So power to youth is our message this morning. Thank you for being on the table, and the warm side of the table is warming up. People are dancing and making, I don't know what is happening there. They're just having a good time, and it's brought to us by Airtel Tigo, who are going to give us room on the yellow couch to to bring it all down from all the hard talk, and we'll be back to see what Kaf and Valerie are up to on the other side of the table. We'll be back.
Live on GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
The show was a job about anyone conquering dim.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat.
Indeed, woman malaria and kawon to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a cope. And now you may kiss the bride. Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat is two malaria sententem. FDA, I say a dead in Kratoi Ajatum say a
Come with the sauce, with Jana, my soul, the swag, that chick. Every year they fly on my chick, I see it. When you say cause, we just wanna get it, we don't want no trouble. When you say cause, we just wanna get it, we don't want no trouble. My brother.
So we've decided that every Wednesday on the Yellow Couch, we are going to dedicate it to unearthing talents, looking at people who are talented, but for some reason or the other, we don't know what's happening there. So we are going to unearth talents, and this segment of the breakfast show is by kindness of Airtel Tigo. So we'll take a quick detour, find out what Airtel Tigo has in store for Ghanaians, and then we'll get back and then meet our guy. He's an international producer, guys. He does hip-hop, and today he's going to tell us a lot, find out a lot we don't know about that side of music. And so there's a break coming up from Airtel Tigo.
And his family. They have just won 10,000 Ghana cedis. You too can win up to 100,000 Ghana cedis. Simply recharge, call more, browse more, use Airtel Money more, and play the SMS trivia to earn points and win big in the Airtel Tigo to Gumisu promo. So why wait? Dial star 500 hash now. I tell you to know my dear.
When it gets there, yeah. Welcome, guys, and so we're having some behind the scenes fans with my guest, Paul G.O.D., aka Paul God. He's an international producer, singer, rapper, but it's all on hip hop. So, guys, you have to follow us. We encourage you to follow us and share and like our page. On Facebook, we are the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. So we also encourage you to disregard any post that comes from a GBC handle that is not verified. Our Facebook is verified, and so there's a blue tick. And so kindly follow our page and share every content on there. Not just while we are live between 6 and 9, but then afterwards, after the show, you can send your comments. There are lots of behind the scenes, interesting stuff and videos you can pick up from there as well and interact with the team. We are live on YouTube. On YouTube, you can find us as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on YouTube, also www.gbcghanaonline.com, and on Twitter we are the GBC Ghana. We are verified on Twitter, the GBC Ghana, and IG GBC, Instagram I mean GBC Online. We are verified as well. So disregard any post that doesn't come from a GBC handle which isn't verified, guys. Paul, I'm sorry for the long intro. I had to put that out there. Welcome to the studios of GBC News and then breakfast as well. You match with our couch.
Wow. Interesting.
So you know what? We are going to have a lot of fun today. Yeah. You know, we usually have high life. We have Afro beats. Right now we have lots of different things that have Afro on it. Yeah. But when it comes to hip-hop, we do know that we have a few hip-hop artists here in Ghana. Okay. I'm going to name okay. I'm not going to mention his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So for the likes of you who form a small proportion of our music industry, what's happening when it comes to hip-hop? Will hip-hop be fully accepted in Ghana?
Okay, so actually in Ghana, there are people down here who actually like hip-hop. And what people don't know is that hip-hop was born in 1973 in the Bronx, that's in the USA.
You seem to know your history.
Oh, yes. And actually people don't know that Jedubele Ambele started hip-hop before 1973.
So in context, people don't know?
A lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
So initially, Jedubele Ambele is the originator of hip-hop.
That's going to be very debatable.
Yes, I know.
I hope you have your facts and evidence to back that claim.
Oh, yes, a lot.
Jedubele is a friend to our couch, and so we might want to get him on that conversation.
Yes.
but will it be fully recognized here or accepted?
Okay, there's a thing about the community in Ghana in general. I think we are still learning how to appreciate our own. So it might take some time before they could actually accept that fact.
Okay, so in a nutshell, who is Paul G.O.D., a.k.a. Paul God?
Okay, so Paul G.O.D., I'm an artist, hip-hop artist and producer. I'm a creative, and yeah, and a nice person.
Obviously.
Yes.
Okay, how did you start music? Why did you decide to become a musician?
Okay, first of all, I fell in love with the hip-hop crafts, the hip-hop culture.
Who's your favorite hip-hop artist?
Wow. Okay, my favorite hip-hop artist is, I don't think I have a favorite. Let me put it that way. I don't think I have a favorite. But I grew up listening to KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, like, you know, yeah, and a whole lot, you know. But I started listening to the people that actually started hip-hop, not like from Tupac, Biggie, B.I.G. No. Below that belt, yeah.
Right. Okay, and tell us your entry into the Ghanaian music industry. Are we acceptive of your craft? How do people rate you? What's the feedback you get when you tell people that, hey, I do hip hop?
Okay, the feedback I get for the first impressions, they say, okay, so hip hop in Ghana, there's no audience for that and all. But I think in general, with whatever you have, with whatever craft you have, is the wisdom you use to actually showcase your talent. So what I do is that I've actually done a lot of shows in Ghana here, like big shows in Ghana here. But what I do is I fuse the hip-hop with jazz.
Okay.
And perform it, so, you know, I have my own audience down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hip-hop is a genre that it's not really accepted or not known to a huge majority in Ghana.
Yes.
Jazz as well belongs to a select few.
Exactly.
And so you're mixing two genres that aren't particularly friendly.
Not necessarily.
That's a video of one of your shows.
Yes.
Which one? Which show is that?
So this is Republic Spirit last year.
Okay.
So we have another one this year.
Okay.
And this was just after Efia and Omale's program. So yeah, that's one of it.
Okay.
One of my shows.
Yes. So you're mixing two genres that aren't particularly popular to our part of the world. And how do you survive? Would you call yourself an emerging artist? Are you an already made artist? Are you a celebrity? Are you a superstar? How would you clarify? I mean, which bracket do you put yourself in?
I wouldn't put myself in any brackets. I would say I'm an artist. That's what I would say.
Okay.
In general, because people might not know me down here. You know, I might not have like a large audience down here, but people know me outside Ghana. And it's because of a few things that I noted earlier in my career. Things like publishing, copyright, intellectual property. Down here, we don't really have a proper system. I think we are still picking up. Our system is still going to get there where artists could actually get the royalties that they deserve from from what they produce. Yes, please. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you intend to change the status quo here? How do you intend to make hip-hop more attractive to us? Because you're making music for Ghanaians.
Yes. Not necessarily Ghanaians, music in general.
Music
for
in
everyone.
general. But now you want Ghanaians to accept you. I mean, there's a fraction of Ghanaians that love hip-hop. But how are you going to make us, the whole Ghana, accept you and your craft and your genre?
Okay. So I have an album titled Dream Africa. So I've fused hip-hop with Afrobeats, not Afropop, Afrobeats.
Okay.
So I've fused that to make it acceptable to people in Africa.
Okay. When you say people in Africa, I find it very,
in general.
Yeah, right. So are you a rapper? Are you a singer? When you get on a beat, what exactly do you do?
I rap.
You rap?
I rap. But I rap, but in case I do a song with someone who sings, I have to make sure the person is on point. So I write for the person, so I'm a writer.
Okay. So writer, producer, rapper, artist, a creative person in general. Yeah. Okay, so because we have you here and you're a rapper, hip-hop artist, let's have you, it's freestyle you call it, no?
Okay.
So can Ghanaians have a feel of Paul G.O.D., the hip-hop artist?
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. So which one would you prefer? Like at least something or a guy?
Anything, you choose.
Okay. All right.
Just make sure that it's hot enough so that you can make me a fan of hip hop.
Okay. All right. So, yo, in your dreams, perfect you I relate to. Anyone I could replace. So I imagine my passion staring right back in your face. No spoken words but images. We was just the two of us. Buy me an option. Trigger love, bullish hearts, in God we trust. Not enough to wipe the tears over facial. Heavily days I embrace you. It's another time I remember eternal ways up in a place far away from there. But here my ears position, my eyes possession, my heart played weapon. Grabbing safe, you got my arms open, you blow up my mind. Windpipes extra O's blowing the climate. Not from violent by talent, bullets was coupling, shows dabbling, shooting to the peak of her heart desirement. In the state of generations, I carried up her bosom, piercing the lips against stardom. Stevie's eyes that wonder kind of keys his fingers laid onto. Come reverse his character. Fate was too young to grow in us. My heart in 7 figures. You perfect address this lady.
Your heart in 7 figures. I heard that one because it had to do with figures. Righty. Okay. So what should Ghanaians expect from you, Paul? What should we expect? I mean, we are not supposed to call you an emerging artist, a household name. You're an artist. What should we expect from you? What are you going to come in to do that's different from what everybody else is doing?
Okay, I would say great music, a fusion of blues, jazz, hip life.
When is your next concert?
Okay, my next concert is this next month.
Next month?
Yes.
Is it here in Ghana?
Yes, here in Ghana.
Okay. Yeah. You might want to tell us more about it. I'm particularly looking forward to come because I want to see
so
and feel.
It's titled The Listen Concert, and I'm doing it with a percussionist, a kofana, and then Nasab Jr.
Okay.
Yes. And it's going to be big, like huge. It's a virtual concert, actually.
We'll talk. You give us the details, get into the end of the show. But I know you are a brain to pick on when it comes to publishing. Something a lot of people don't know. I mean, before we came on, we're talking a little about publishing them, and that's one of the things that's it's like a big challenge to most of our artists here, because people just become musicians and half of the time they don't know the craft, they don't know that it is an actual job. So you might want to tell us a little about publishing when it comes to music.
So first of all, I would like to say when it comes to music, music is not just entering a studio and recording and using a track for 2 or 3 people to hear, or putting your songs on Spotify or iTunes and that's it. No, that's not music. When it comes to music, you have the music itself and you have the business of the music itself. 2 of these things make music. So now, what most of our artists are doing down here is to just put their songs on,
the streaming apps.
Yeah, the streaming platforms, and that's it. Then they're on television, and it's a done deal. Actually, they need to get publishers. That's where publishing comes in. So publishing is a thing where it's a system that gets you your royalties of what creative arts you do, the particular creative arts you do. So normally what artists have to do is not just stop at the point where they distribute they do distribution, but then get publishers. Example of publishers are BMI, CSAC, ASCAP, so that they could get royalties of whatever content they produce. And it cuts across board, whether the person is a videographer, the person is a musician, content creator. In general, it cuts across.
Every creative person needs to get a publisher.
Yeah.
If you throw more light on that, what exactly, assuming I'm a musician, rapper, I'm signed on to a management label, I stream my music on 2 or 3 streaming apps.
Yeah.
Why do I need a publisher? What exactly would a publisher do for me?
Okay, for example, you put your songs on streaming platforms. Of course, you would boost it on Instagram, Facebook, and all.
Let's say I put it on Boomplay.
Boomplay.
Okay.
So when you put your song on Boomplay, you sell on Boomplay. People listen, stream your song, listen, you get the money off, you know. But then here's the case where you go to parties and you hear songs, people playing songs around. You listen to the radio. Anybody can just take your song. Any DJ can take your song and then play it. Actually, when a DJ is playing your song, you're supposed to get money off it. You don't go to the store and buy, let's say, detergent.
Okay, so...
And then take detergent home, use it, give it to your next door neighbor. The person uses it. Then a different person from nowhere comes to your house, pick it, and leaves your house with it. You know,
so
you must get...
let's pause on that. So assuming I'm a DJ and I'm playing at an event in Kaswa, and I play Ochiame Kwame's music.
Okay.
What does that mean? Behind Ochiame's blind side, and I play his music in Kaswa.
Okay, initially, when you are rendering, so doing music is like rendering a service. So anytime someone plays your music, the person is supposed to pay for what the person is listening to. So if a DJ is playing Ochiame's song outside, possibly the DJ might have paid his quota for getting his song. You don't know where he got it from. Because sometimes you can publish on streaming platforms. A lot of musicians don't know that too. So when you have a publisher on the streaming platform, then you've already collected your quota from whoever has downloaded your song, or, you know.
Right.
Exactly. So he could play the song. On the other side, it might also mean that Ochiame Kwame might not have a publisher. So they can pick your song and play it anywhere. Someone, you know, TikTok and the rest, someone can just, you know, dance, put your song behind, and you're getting nothing for it. Exactly.
Okay. So how do we make this information accessible to other creative persons who do not know that they need to get published regardless?
Okay. So I also do some programs in Ghana here for all schools. I've done a couple of them with Art Life Matters. That's with Mr. Eric Ejari. It's actually a huge program where celebrities come together to educate senior secondary schools in Ghana about, that's based on career guidance and all. So anytime I go for programs like that, I make sure they know that it's not just about the music, but then you have to know about publishing. So as much as possible, any interview I have, I make sure they get educated about publishing so that they don't take the wrong steps. Because in Ghana, as it stands now, everybody wants to, you know, be in the limelight where, okay, I see Sarko there, I see Ochiame Kwame, and it's all flashy, and I want to be famous, but they don't have any retirement plan. Publishing is a musician's retirement plan.
Say that again.
Publishing is a musician's retirement plan.
That's good. I wish we could have more time and speak more because, definitely we'll have
music business.
Yeah, let's talk about music as a business. Maybe we'll have a couple of panelists as well. So, what should we expect from now to the end of the year from your camp?
Okay, great music. I've produced a couple of albums as well in the US, in Europe. It should be out soon. So.
You keep saying US and Europe. I mean, what do Ghanaians? What should we expect from you?
I've produced like a couple of albums down here too. So
who are some of the people you worked with? Which albums have you?
The God of Poetry. We recorded 2 albums this year. It's not out yet, but it's done. So we will be releasing it soon. I'm working on Guillotine Bar's album. I've done a couple for Akan as well.
Yeah, Akan.
And yeah. Just great music.
Okay. So tell us about your upcoming concert.
Wow. Okay. So it's called a Listen Concert. And
it's a listening concert.
Listen
concert.
And I'm doing it with Akofna and Nasa Junior, and with a BPM band.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
It's going to be live. And it's going to be great. We might feature some great talents on as well, like Kwamina live, and I mean it's going to be great.
Okay. Do you have a date set up yet?
Not really.
All right, we'll have you back in here when we are talking about music as a business, and then you can give us the filler on where to meet. Is it going to be in the Christmas period? Please say
yes.
Definitely. Right. If you weren't producing, if you weren't rapping, if you went into hip hop, what would you be doing?
Okay, so I work. I don't just do hip hop.
Right.
So it's a thing for all musicians. Like, get a business, you know.
What do you do?
Okay, so I'm a corporate guy.
Okay.
It's hard to believe, but I work at the Business Executive Africa, and yeah, that's what I do. I'm a creative person, of course.
But we like the switch inside. It fits in perfectly.
I just followed you on Instagram, the real Paul God.
Yes.
So
tell us, before we let you go, tell us how you use social media.
Social media.
Yes.
Social media is
as a creative tool.
It's an important tool. You cannot be in this age and not be on social media, and you have a business running. It's not possible. Most business